Again, it's on. We are back in the building, Black Comic Lords. No, this is not Wakanda Whiskey and Blurred. I got something more special for y'all tonight. Primarily, just look at my man. Look at the man over here, the other direction. Oh, right here. OG Rich.
What up? What up?
Panther-hearted.
What's going on?
What's up, brother?
Not much, man. How you doing?
You ready for tonight?
Yeah, ready or not, here we come.
Exactly.
In the infamous words of DJ Khaled, another one. So,
yeah.
Roundtable time.
We're the best. Listen, if you have spent any time in our space, if you have spent any time watching either my show, Rich show, whatever, this issue that we're going to talk about tonight comes up a lot. Now, we all know about the big two, Marvel and DC, two biggest comic book producers on the planet. But they've been slipping. They've been slipping, is what a lot of you are saying. A lot of you are saying, you know, some of the representation isn't real representation. Some of the quality of stories isn't hitting the way it used to. And at the same time, we see an explosion of independent comics coming up. Boom. Vault. Image has always been there. Dark Horse has always been there kicking it. But we see a new crop of books coming up now, a new crop of publishers. Advent, Godhood, Second Sight. You know, these publishers are concrete, just out there killing it. We're talking stories, art, original characters, top creators. There's a paradigm shift that's happening. And we're going to explore that. We're going to explore the paradigm shift to the Black indie comic creators. So to that end, we have a number of special guests tonight. Vonnell Young, Tony Kittrell, Dorphise Jean, Marcus Roberts, who are going to bless us with their time and their knowledge and experience and their insight as to what it's like to be a Black indie comic creator. So let me introduce to, in case you don't know who some of these people are. Let's start with Dorphise Jean. Dorphise is from Miami, Florida. Hail to the U. Born of Haitian American native, she is a comic creator, screenplay animator, and history teacher who began their comic creator career in 2015. Spirit's Destiny was their first published comic book. Their most recent accomplishments include creator and writer of Spirit's Destiny, Fauna, Y2K, and now Nia Carter. They are currently a freelance writer for the comic book community. They also continue to pursue diverse projects, including creating content from film scripts to video game scripts. It's Dorphise Jean. Next, someone who's not a stranger to these spaces and these airwaves, Mr. Tony Kittrell. Tony Kittrell is the owner, editor-in-chief, and lead writer over at Advent Comics. 14 years in the game, y'all. With experience in such titles as Titan, the Ultraman, Southside, Black Star Line, Cosmos, Codename Blackfire, and global distribution of his exciting line of comics, merchandise, and of his creator-owned Unbound Realms imprint, brings a wealth of knowledge to the Black comics community. Next up, Mr. Marcus H. Roberts. Marcus is the COO at Second Sight Publishing, LLC, and an editor and freelance writer, comic creator. He's the editor for the 2022 Sequential Magazine Award-nominated These Damn Kids, Athena the Undying, and Victoria Black from Second Sight Publishing, collection editor for Mississippi Zombie and Harvest of Horrors, horror anthologies from Caliber Entertainment, collection editor for Shook, a Black horror anthology, and we're going to talk about that book, and Dark Horse Comics, an assistant collection editor for Shook Songs of the Dark Sirens from Second Sight Publishing. If you don't know, you're about to find out. He is the creator, writer of the Protector Volumes 1 and 2 comic book series, and writer of Hedge Hollow, which were all nominated for Glyph Comic Awards in 2019, 2020, and 2023. Some of his written credits include Braze Jones' The Indomitable Black Assassin, the Horn Island Trilogy, and co-writer Sonny with Bradley Golden, and from Caliber Entertainment, Mississippi Zombies, Volume 1, 2, and 3, Second Sight Publishing presents Harvest of Horrors, Volume 1, Shook, a Black horror anthology and content contributor to the independent magazine, ICC Magazine, and 4 Pages, 16 Bars anthologies, volumes 5, 6, and 9 from Griot Enterprises. And last but certainly not least, Mr. Vonnell Young. Vonnell is the founder of Millennial Comics. He calls VA his home, and his main mission is to build a company that puts stories back in the forefront of the comic book world. Let me repeat that last line from my man Rich, who complains about this every single week. He puts stories back in the forefront of the comic book world. He's also committed to authentic storytelling that gives better stories to people of culture. He aims to bring deeper meanings that transcend our skin color. He's poured his heart into crafting over 20 books, and he's just getting started. For him, it's not just about entertainment. It's about diving into stories that resonate deeply and bring new perspectives to the table. With every new project, he's on a mission to reshape and redefine the comic book scene. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring you our Black comic creators for tonight.
Murderer's Row right here.
Good evening, people. Good evening, good evening, good evening. How y'all doing?
Good,
Great.
good. Thank you for having us. Appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
It's an honor.
Absolutely.
The honor is all ours.
Before we get into the depth of what you guys do, I just got to ask No one can. Anybody can just grab this. My first question is, how did you get into comics? How did you get in?
You want me to start?
Go ahead.
Ladies first.
We want you to start, but first we have to recognize behind the scene with his opening salvo, slapping people across the face with the gauntlet and throwing it on the floor.
Oh wow!
What are you doing, Derek?
Treasure, you finished.
Derek, stop pressing the button.
Donation. It's a donation. I thought it was the trash. Don't be hitting on me.
Thank you.
Delta Dog 757 in the building. Art over everything. Shout out to all the creators out there. Thank you behind the scene for sure. So
we 30 seconds in and Vonnell already getting love. This is crazy.
That's what's up. So Dorphise, tell us how'd you get into comics?
Well, I always been a nerd in my family. But my son kind of pushed me into comics. We went to a comic book store, and he's a big fan of Batman, and I hate Batman. So, yeah, he's underrated to me. So I mean, overrated actually. But yeah, his backstory is just it got boring to me. I used to like him when I was younger, but as I got older, I was like, nah. But that's what he wanted, and I was like, okay, do we have a Haitian superhero? The comic book store owner said no. Maybe you should create one, and that's what I did. I started reaching out to different comic creators. I went on search on Facebook. I went to groups. I met with a lot of people like Greg, Marcus, and they actually showed me the light, what I needed to do, how to build my creative team, and I went from there. People actually like my character, Spirit's Destiny. And, I've been building other characters. I have recently just finished another character. Makanda was one of a rebellious slave from back in the days that went against the French, that points to the French. And I wanted to create him as a superhero because he's very a monument character within the Haitian community. And like I was saying, Batman sucks.
Boy, she threw the gauntlet down and just hurt our poor feelings. I'm gonna just ask a question: who hurt you? Tragic. But I like that though. That's real. I ain't mad at that. So, fellas, okay, Dorphise is weighed in. So y'all tell me, how'd you guys get into comics?
I guess I'll go next. We want to go from left to right at this point.
That'll work.
So I got in through comics through my brother, my older brother. Everything he did, I tried to follow through. He played basketball, I played basketball. He did comic books. He actually started to create comic books and read comic books. So I started following suit, and I just never stopped from that. And with comic books, of course, didn't see too many people like us. Even when I was, playing with toys as a kid. Like again, this started way back when I was like 7 or whatever. But even before then, I was playing toys as kids. You always had those, the white kid toys. We didn't have no black toys and stuff like that. So I just found it really odd. So I was like, oh man, I could, be different. Cause that's all my brother used to tell me, always be different. If you're not gonna be different, don't do it at all. So, I was trying to be different, and I wanted to, get more things that look like us. So I started again doing comic books in that type of way. And growing up, I was like, okay, I'm starting to see more people that look like us, but nobody that feels like us. So, I'm getting more and more into books and doing research. Like I found Milestone. I found other different companies and stuff like that. Lobo, y'all put me on to that. And just trying to and also I grew up on the Ultimate Universe, to be honest with you. The Ultimate Spider-Man was like my Spider-Man back in the day when I was a kid. So yeah, that's my whole journey of getting into comic books. And of course manga follows suit, and I just stayed on manga for a minute.
Right.
Can I just repeat what Vonnell said, because I want us to touch upon that at some point in this discussion. Vonnell said I saw characters that looked like us but didn't feel like us. That's where y'all come in. We're gonna talk about that. Brother Marcus. I think you're muted, Marcus.
Yeah, you, Marcus.
He probably dropped the dopest line too.
Right.
You're still muted, Marcus.
Yeah, I can't hear you, bro.
You got the background and all, and look at you.
It's probably on the app. It's probably on the app that's muted.
Can we unmute him?
Let me see.
Dang, Marcus.
Well, there he goes.
Okay. Well, let me start from the beginning. I am what's referred to as a generational comic book reader. My father read comic books. Now, I am not ashamed to say I'm 58 years old. I have been reading comic books all my life. So if my father was reading comic books when he was young, that means he was reading some of the stereotypical crap that's been out there. So when my comic book journey began, my father turned both me and my brother on to comics, but he also turned us on to comic book history. So I started with things like Golden Legacy, for example.
Gotcha.
The pride as a young man knowing that this was a black publishing company that was putting out books that they were ahead of their times with connections with United Airlines and things of that nature, Coca-Cola and whatever. You know, this is one thing that my father drilled in me about comic books. So with my love of comic books, it came also the coupling of history. So I always had my eye out for black characters, comic books produced by black people. The underground movement was a big thing for me because through the underground movement, I slid into horror. So I was kind of hand in hand with horror moving up. But yeah, I have never let comic books go in all of this time. And being in the position that I'm in now is because I saw myself as a young man doing what I'm doing now, publishing comic books, having my own company. I never wanted to work for Marvel. I never wanted to work for DC. Those were never any of my aspirations. My aspiration was to be like Bertram Fitzgerald and Fitzgerald Publishing and put out my own comic books.
Right. That's what's up.
Yeah. Well, like Vonnell, Marcus, I got in comics due to my older brother and cousin. They would get together and they'd read comic books, but I was a younger brother and they didn't want to be bothered, so they wouldn't let me in to read the comics. So when they dipped out to play basketball or football, I snuck in. I would read the comic books, and I was instantly hooked. Neil Adams' old X-Men, Ramada's Spider-Man, Buscema, Conan. I mean, I was reading it all, and I just got hooked. I love the visuals. I love the comic book pages. Matter of fact, I even learned how to read through the comic books. And so that love always remained, even though, you know, life took me other places. It led me back to comic books as I guess I was supposed to be. And I'm glad for it. I love it.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. We have another super chat. Blurred Forever. Across the pond. Just blessing. Part of the Batman Hate Crew too. He's the rope. Tragic.
That's what I'm talking about, Blurred.
You see what you started, Dorphise?
Yes, I love it. I knew it was somebody out there just like me.
There's a lot.
Derek, roll the tape.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah.
So let's get into this. Paul, go ahead and get us started, my brother. What we want to get into tonight?
Wow, that's actually a good question. Where do we start? Let me start by asking each of you, why are Black independent comics important?
Representation is always important. For too long, like you said, back in the 30s, all we've had were the white characters or white heroes to look up to. And as a kid, I know when I saw black characters who were doing the thing, whether it be Luke Cage, whether it be DC's Black Lightning, I felt that sense of pride saying, okay, that could be me. I would go outside and pretend to be the black character when we played superheroes. My friends would be the Hulk or whatever. I was always Black Lightning or Black Panther. And they were like, who is that? I'm like, to me, who is that? It's probably the only black superhero. So I wanted kids to be able to see that we can do anything that they can do, if that makes any sense. So a lot of people say, oh, well, you don't make comic books just off black people. I'm like, every comic book I got, there's at least 2 powerful black characters in every single book, whether it's a white book, whether it's a book made especially for us. You always going to see us shine in any comic book. So I say it's about representation. I mean, we got to be seen, being able to do and be on a level playing field with the others.
I think we're very important. Of course, you always have the representation, but exactly how far does that go? And when it comes to storytelling, like, we're missing big parts. This is not just about like copy and paste. Like, hey, what if Batman was black or something like that? First of all, Batman couldn't even be black because Batman get away with too much stuff. But I mean, it's stories that we're missing. And just like, of course, across seas, you have Asians bringing out manga and stuff like that, and what they bring to the table is a wide variety of just different story and the style that they bring to the table. They haven't even seen our style for real like that. They got a taste of it with Milestone, with some type of consistency, but they haven't really like got that, that full brace of like, yo, this is completely different from what DC is doing, what Marvel is doing, and whatnot. Man, it's so much stuff that we're missing. There's so much stuff that hasn't been done yet because they haven't gave us a true shot yet, So it's very important because, again, we're missing out on something like that can't be produced by anybody else but us.
Right. Mr. Marcus, I got a question. Right. horror is your thing, and you do a very good job at Second Sight. I'm a fan. My question for you in regards to horror, this genre, we've seen of late, movies offerings on the big screen, like Jordan Peele's Get Out, things of that nature, right? And I was just curious, for you as a horror fan or whatever, the Black experience can be debated that it has been a horror show in the West. So my question, sir, is how does representation play out in terms of horror? Because you're really showing people our struggle, but through this lens of fear, in a sense, and it's very, very powerful. So does that make any sense? Let me just add, does the question make any sense?
Well, what's the difference between black horror and white horror?
Well, I'm one of the first people that'll say that one of the things I love about horror is evil is colorblind. Like, the creatures don't get up and say, hey, I'm just going to kill some black people today and just kill black people. The creatures kill whoever they want to kill. But more importantly, as far as the representation that you're speaking of, we as a people don't understand what our true place in the whole horror genre is, because we have people like Billy Graham. Okay, Billy Graham, we know who he was, famous for the artist on Black Panther. But did you know Billy Graham also was the artist on Vampirella #1? Billy Graham was the art director for the publishing company that published the book, and he drew the first 12 issues. Our place in horror cemented there. People like Wayne Howard and his own comic line, The Midnight Tales. He was the artist, he was writer, letterer, drew the cover, did so much on the book that he is the first creator to be credited with his name on the front of a comic book. This is a black dude in the horror genre. So our place is really cemented in. It's just horror is such a niche that we oftentimes overlook the accomplishments and the stuff that's been done by Black creators and Black artists and writers. But then we have this research, just like with everything else in the independent comic book world, we've had a resurgence of Black independent writers, Black creators, Black artists that's doing horror. And it's being led by our brother Rodney Barnes in that Philadelphia. Because if you aren't on Philadelphia, if you can't even call yourself a horror fan. But led by that, I mean, and then you got like the stuff that John Jennings is doing over there with Abrams Megascope is big. The stuff we're doing with Second Sight, it's big. We aren't like reinventing the wheel. We're just reclaiming the spots that were already created for us.
I like that.
That's what's up.
That's what's up. Yeah. And Marcus, we're going to get a little bit more into how you are carrying that legacy of Black horror pioneers to the next level. We're going to talk about
it. Real quick, Paul. Dorphise, question. In regards to your art, your culture or your background is Haitian, correct?
Correct.
So is your artwork just that aesthetic, or do you blend it with other things or whatnot?
I do blend it with other things. I do put a lot of my culture, like voodoo is very big in the Haitian culture, and but also put pride. We're comedics. I also got to understand that I'm also American because I was born here. I was not born in Haiti. I visited when I was much younger, so I know what the type of lifestyle they have. So, and I embrace it, but I do put it out there within my comic books. So, like issue 4 is going to be in Haiti, so I want to show the beauty in Haiti. Like what the media show, they show the ugly side, but I'm going to show the beauty within my culture. So I do push it out there, and I've been teaching my readers how to speak Creole as well. So,
that's what's up.
Yeah.
Represent. That's what's up. That's beautiful. Go ahead, Paul. I'm sorry. I didn't want to hijack. I'm just a fan. I'm just fanning out.
No. I wanted to hear what Dorphise had to say too. Big ups and sac passe to the Haitian community. You got a comic book that you need to go check out.
Yes. I have 3 issues so far. Working on issue 4, and also I'm working on another comic book. My son is a special need. And I'm working on the superhero book. I've been procrastinating for a very long time for other kids that represent themselves as special need. So he's gonna have his own little team, like you could say like a miniature Teen Titans. And I wanted to just put that out there as well.
That's dope.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Mr. Tony.
Yes, sir.
I got a bone to pick with you, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I got a bone to pick with you.
Yes, sir.
Now Thorn was available free comic book day.
Yes.
And I went to like 11 million shops.
Yeah.
I already know what he's gonna say because I got the same right.
Could not find it. And man, my feelings was hurt. I wanted to directly email you and see if I was being pranked. I just knew I was gonna have that book.
I actually did DM him. I'm like, dude, where's the book? I'm out here in these streets, bro. Where's the book?
We printed off 600 copies for free comic book day. And those 600 copies went across the country to the stores. Now, people have been hitting me up, was like, bro, I need it. One guy said he came in and saw, the time he walked through the door, the time he got to the stand, he saw 25 copies go like that. He grabbed the last copy. And I was like, he was like, you got any more? I was like, bro, I said, and I put them out there. I was like, it is what it is. And I didn't expect it to go. That's one of the titles that it's on my Unbound Realms. Basically, not only do I do my own comics in the Advent Universe line, I publish for other creators as well. a creator-owned line. So that was one of the titles that recently came up on our Unveiled Rams line, and it's been doing gangbusters. People seen the letter story, and we're gonna rock with it. Thorn 3, yeah, there it is right there. That's Thorn, and that's a picture actually from Southside. But I'm gonna send y'all some Thorn stuff. Thorn 3 hit stores, actually 2 hit stores next week, October 18th.
Okay.
So grab your copies, go to the store, get your copies, and each issue we getting more and more sales. People getting hip to what we're doing. So ask for Thorn in the stores. If you don't see it, let me know. Give me your store name. I'll talk to the owner. If y'all can't make it happen, I'll make it happen. But yeah,
That's
please
what's
check it. And as a matter of fact, I got a copy of Thorn 0 that I'll get to you too. But I don't have a lot to give to everybody, but I'll give it to you.
Hey, look.
I want a signed copy, Tony.
Oh, you got it.
You know what I'm saying?
And I want to throw this in here as well. When I first started in the comic book industry, my first book, I talked with Tony Kittrell. I was actually with the World of Black Heroes at the time, and I would do interviews with different independent creators. And I talked with Tony, and I was just so impressed with Tony with the whole Advent setup. And Tony encouraged me about doing the book. And I said, okay, well, you got this company. If I do the book, you're going to publish it? And he said, yes. So when I finished my book, it was initially published through Advent Comics, the Unbound Realm. And that actually helped me get some needed exposure, being not just associated with a company like Advent, but being able to say that, hey, I'm with this publisher, this well-known, well-respected publisher, Advent. And it still goes a long way. And
when he published it, not even 2 months later, he was nominated for that glyph. So, yeah, thank you, bro. I appreciate the big gave the Advent with the protector and the trust you put in me to put it out for you. So Marcus, my man, it's my man, $100,000. So whatever he asked for, he got for me. So I hope that other Black publishers, or not even publishers, Black creators, period, had that kind of bond. Me and Marcus talk behind the scenes all the time, and some other Black publishers, Lonzo from Concrete, Tyler from Godless. We all talk behind the scenes. And as a matter of fact, I'm gonna throw this back at Marcus. I had already had global distribution, but I was trying to get in Diamond. Diamond kept like, nah, we good, bro, we good. And I'm like, okay, cool. Marcus like, nah. He was like, you got everything you need. He was like, this is how you tweak it and you make it work. I hit him with that, with the knowledge Marcus gave me, and boom. And then when I told him about what I had coming up on Unbound Rams, they were like, oh, we'll make it happen today. 2 hours later, they was like, start some of your books next week. And I was like, okay, bet. But it was thanks to Marcus that I was even gave it another try. Because at first I was like, nah, I ain't fooling with Diamond no more. I'm good. I do it on my own. I'm going to make it on my own. But Marcus was like, nah, he was like, do it this way. And sure enough, we got it thanks to Marcus's information. So it's been each one teach one. We've been pulling up fellas from behind the scenes each and every time we go along. So we're going to keep doing that.
Well, you just mentioned something that I thought was really profound. The fact that, I think Chillmonger's in the building. He's going to bring up the same thing. We all talk behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. I want you all to talk about that, because what I often found, the more we do these interviews with Black comic creators, the more I realize everybody knows everybody. Yeah. Y'all go to the same cons, you meet each other, you talk to each other. Tell us about from the other side of the table, behind the scenes, what is the community like? Is it truly a community? Is it within a subculture? Does it need to expand, or do better ties need to be made, and how can that be done?
No. It's no. Marcus already know how I am. No. I'm a very friendly person, but I've met some trash people within the community. And I stay away from them. Because I have a filthy mouth. So, but other than that, Marcus has molded me. We do cons together. We be doing the Florida SuperCon, and I've done cons with Greg Elise. We did the C2E2, and we had did another one in Miami. And when we did C2E2, me and Greg were so tired, we got tired of selling. They kept coming to our table. We're like, he's like, man, do you sell for me? We was taking turns because they just kept selling. We all were sold out, and it was a great experience. But we was just tired. We started selling digital copies. But there's some nasty people within the community. I stay away from them. So like, they will try to break you, especially because as a woman, they think I'm weak. But I have to let them know that I'm from the South and I'm Haitian. I don't play that. I do not play that. But Marcus be calming me down though. He calms me down. Tell me.
Dorphise don't play that.
Just so you don't. Just so you know, the bottoms don't play.
I don't.
305.
Wow.
And it was like that. When I met Dorphise, it was actually another creator who was trying to get a book together, and he was telling me about the different people who was writing on the book, and he told me about Dorphise. And we as men, some of us have been slow to give up our misogynistic ways. So in talking with this other creator, just the way he was talking about her, the way it kind of threw me off. So I did not work with him, but I did meet Dorphise, and in meeting her and just seeing her passion for comics, seeing her passion for creating and the whole thing, I was like, you know what, me and you're gonna be friends. We're gonna be ride or die. And it's been like that now for at least the last 7 years.
Yeah.
So, but as far as talking behind the scenes, we do all talk behind the scenes. Like she mentioned Greg Ellisay. After The Protector, Greg hit me up because I sent him a copy, and he was like, can I give you some criticism? And I was like, yeah, let me know what's up. So he gave me the advice he gave me as it pertained to the book, because this was my first book. I took it to heart. I was like, okay, man, bet. And I have used it, and it has paid off. He did it because as a fellow creator, he wanted to see me successful.
Mm-hmm.
The same reason Tony that published my book, he wanted to see me successful. So you start finding out the people that's real and the people that's giving you the lip service. And all the ones that's real, we do kind of gravitate in a big circle. As I mentioned before, with me working with at the World of Black Heroes, and I worked at the World of Black Heroes for like 7 years before I actually took off into full-time comics. And I got a chance to meet indie comic creators across the board from all different places and even overseas. And you start hearing a common theme amongst them, which is unity, brotherhood. We need to get together. We need to bond. We need to share information. So, that's really where I took my lead from, was once I started finding out information, I was like, look, I'll give it to you for free because I just want to see you successful.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So this is why I raised this question. Because, in Black Comic Lords, I see the amount of talent that runs through our space in terms of writers and artists and editors and what have you. There's a lot of you in here. And there was this art. Derek, bring up that article I wanted to talk about.
Before we do that, one of your listeners, Resident 76, has said there is a lot of camaraderie or such and such if you get inside the inner clique. Just to let inner circle. I personally don't do inner circles. Everybody is in my inner circle. If you go back and look at me, I try to support everybody. I will big up and bring everybody I can that looks like us up, because that's my whole goal. I want to see everybody win. People are like, oh, no, it can't be like that. No, I legit want to see all of us win, because there's so much room for all of us to come through the door. And now that the doors are starting to open, we all going to get through it. And so I make it my goal, whether it's on Kickstarter where I'm a super backer, backing nearly 600 brothers and sisters with their comic book projects, whether it's on Indiegogo, backing almost nearly 120. I'm gonna make sure if you got something up there and I know about it, I got your back. And if I got some information, if you want to hit me up, say, hey, bro, how do you do X, Y, and Z? It's yours free of charge. I got you. Like I said, each one teach one to bring the next one with us. So that's how I roll. I can't speak for anybody else. Yeah. I don't do clicks because that's not a thing I subscribe to. I want to see us all win. So if we all can't win, then what are we doing?
Unfortunately, Tony, it seems to be that there's too many of the crabs in the barrel mentality that permeates our culture that has carried over into the creative realm as well.
I've come in contact with it, but I try to keep my eyes on the prize. I have certain goals in mind, so I try to look past a lot of that. I hear it and see it, whatever. I let it roll off my back.
You're better than me, Tony.
Well, trust me, it gets hard being a bigger man sometimes. So what I say is, when you got to be the bigger man all the time, you need to change the surroundings and pick up better friends and better associates. So that's what I'm doing. The ones that I see that got the shine and the ones who got the democracy and want to get it done, I'm going after them dogs. I don't want nobody else around me who ain't going to roll like I roll as hard as I roll. So if you really about it, let's link up. Let's do it.
Wow. Yep. There's two questions. Before we get to that, Dr. Wizard, I want to bring up these two questions. The first one is by Dion behind the scene. People don't like to talk criticism. Difference between the amateurs and the pros. And the second one by frustrated fans. A lot of comic creators have a hard time taking constructive criticism. They're like Erykah Badu. They're sensitive about their stuff.
I actually, when I first started, I was sensitive about it, but now I can take it. Like, it's so easy. Like I have two specific editors, Brian Lambert and Greg, and they will tell me straight up, and I can take it. Like, if you say to me, "Oh, Dorphise, you should have did this and that," I can take it, because how else will I get better? Because I'm trying to reach to a different my audience. So I'm always all about listening to all type of criticism. I just don't listen to criticism from that lame that Marcus is talking about. I just don't listen to him. But other than that, I listen to everybody else.
Yeah.
How much do the rest of you do you feel that that's a thing where other of your brethren and sisterin creators just aren't big on criticism?
Yeah, they be crying.
Most definitely, because when it comes to criticism, you can really tell because I go to different Comic-Cons. I walk up to somebody's booth and I see that they invest so much into something, a project where I'm just like, okay, this probably needs some more work. And for them to get that far, it's like, okay, either people are afraid to tell them or they don't want to listen to criticism. So when I try to hey, what about this and that, I try to, give them some type of some feedback. And when I hear, of course, certain words were just like, okay, yeah, they're not trying to hear it. Then it's like, all right, it's like, man, it just kind of hurts my heart as well, because the thing is with me, all I do, if people that know me, that's talked to me, face to face, they know all I'm asking is, okay, I hear that you like the comic book. Thank you so much. But please tell me anything that you didn't like about the comic book. What can I improve here? You know what I'm saying? Was it something confusing here and stuff like that? And I'm digging. I'm trying to I'm trying to dig so I can grow in those areas, because the criticism is important. People get paid to be a critic. You know what I'm saying? So criticism is very, very important. And when people finally make that switch of, okay, nobody's trying to attack you, but they're trying to help you to grow. But also you have to filter out the different people that are talking trash and stuff like that. You have to filter that stuff out. But you're not going to grow unless you finally open your ears and be able to, to accept and embrace and and do what you got to do. Right. But yeah.
Right.
And that's a good point. And that's how you are serious about this, because if someone gives you some criticism and you really want to improve or you really want to do this, you'll take it and apply what works for you and make it something better. I mean, no one is telling you, well, some people do, but most people are telling you from a place of purity, hey, I like this about your book. I wish you could do this better. Or, you thought about bringing an editor on this project. I mean, they're telling you from a point where they want to see you, successful. So if you learn to take it and accept it for what it is, you'll be a better creator for it.
So this is why I wanted to address. Go ahead, Marcus. Go ahead.
The first time I had a professional editor review my stuff, before he did it, before he agreed to even come aboard, he told me, we're going to remove pride out of this.
Yeah.
Because this is the only way that I'm going to be able to do my job and help you. So remove pride. And it was hard when I first started removing that pride, because I felt like I was writing, the stuff I was writing was the bomb. Like, hey, this is the best stuff out. And then to have somebody come behind you with the red pen and start making changes, start marking stuff out, your feelings get crushed. I mean, crushed. But then as you go on, you understand that, okay, one, you brought this person in specifically to do what they're doing. Mm-hmm. So don't get mad because they're doing it. And then two, the only reason why they're doing it is because obviously something has to be wrong. Because if nothing was wrong, they wouldn't make corrections. So obviously corrections needed to be made. So you start learning those type aspects. Now, my feelings still get hurt when the editor gets the red pen and change stuff around. But I understand that this needed correcting, that now the sentence has been made better. The editor has enhanced what I've already done. And that's part of growing as a professional. The people that can't take that, they hadn't grown as a professional. And it doesn't matter how good their talent is. To be successful in the industry, you have to grow as a professional.
Frustrated fans ask an interesting question. He says, how would you feel about someone taking over the writing on a character you created and doing a better writing job on it? Is that a harder pill to swallow? Because all four of you do writing to some extent.
Not at all.
Nope. I gave my Kandal. I started writing on it, and I gave it to somebody else to write it, and he did a wonderful job. I was so happy. I'm like, okay. Sometimes it's good to give somebody else to read their creativity. You can get inspired from it. So I'm all for it.
I had to bring in 4 additional writers because the amount of titles we have now it's getting too much to just try to go through it all by myself. And besides, I've kind of shifted a little bit. I'm working on our 15th anniversary project. That's taking a lot of time, and a couple other things I'm working on. So I was like, hey, I need some other people to help me write these books. So I brought in like 4 of the writers. So I don't mind at all. It's a help. It's never a hindrance. I mean, once you realize, hey, this is only for the better, that's when you don't have, like Marcus said, pride and ego. You put that to the side and realize, hey, this is only going to help us get better and get to where we want to be. So, no, I don't mind at all.
Yeah, it seems like a good opportunity to study to me. It's a very good, if somebody can take my books and do a lot better than I can, that's a very good opportunity for me to learn some stuff. So I'll be excited for somebody to take over.
That's a perfect segue to the next point I want to make. A few weeks ago, we got a chance to opportunity to interview Kevin Grevious, and he talked about his feelings, his opinions on the importance of Black creators maintaining their intellectual property, their IP. If you are a Black independent creator, you create your own IP, and you are humble enough to let others work on your IP, it just gives you an opportunity to grow, right, and get better. But at the end of the day, the most important thing as you as a creator, in my opinion, would be to own that IP. And that leads to my next point. Derek, bring up that article. So this recently just came out yesterday. New York Times. Comic book upstart seeks to shake up the industry. New comic book company called Ghost Machine, with these writers and artists, most notably Jeff Johns from DC Comics is over there. In essence, they are following the exact same
image,
paradigm, blueprint laid out by organizations like Image Comics and Milestone Comics back in the 90s. You take top talent, top recognized talent, people that have followings, writers and artists that have followings, and you link them with other top talent, and you start your own company. And there's a couple different ways that you can do it. You can start the company and do your own publishing, much like some of you do. You do your own publishing. Or you can get into a publishing deal with an existing independent group, which is what Milestone did with DC Comics, where they got to maintain their IP, have creative control, and have someone else publish it as another way of doing it. This is something I talk about all the time, because I'm a big fan of Milestone Comics and what they accomplished. And Image, for that matter. If in my opinion, if we want to have more original content, better stories, better characters, not caricatures, not brown versions of existing IP from the big two. If we want to have success in the industry long term, it's important that these books from Black independent creators like yourselves get on the shelves of local comic shops, and into the hands of the fans, and you get to retain your IP and have it grow from there. Get your Netflix deal, get your Amazon Prime deal, what have you. Why is that doesn't happen? We talked about some of the reasons there. I mean, we talked about, that, quite frankly, not as much bonding amongst the Black independent creators as we might think there should be. And we talk about sort of the logistical problems of, ego getting in the way when it comes to criticism. Certain artists may have, not interested in being criticized. But what do you guys feel are sort of the obstacles to overcome for more creators to get together, form their own company, and just say, as Tony said, let's all help each other, uplift each other, and go in the same direction together?
Well, before we move any further, I'm double checking my markets. I believe wasn't Nia kind of in the same mold as well? Didn't they come together?
Yes, Nia back in the day.
Yeah, Roosevelt Pitts and Machindo and them. So we want to give credit to the founders. That's a rough call. It's a lot of factors, but a lot of it is people don't trust other people with their IPs or their money. I mean, let's be real about it. You got to have a lot of faith in somebody to do that. And I'm not saying it can't happen, because that's my goal. I've always tried to bring us together to make stuff like this happen. It's just a matter of the creators getting together and trusting each other enough to make it happen. It's definitely a viable thing. And the way I look at it now, the Black comic creative community, gangbusters, putting out gangbuster work. Nobody's doing it like we do it. And I stand on that. And Image, Ghost Machine, whoever you want to put up, if we get together, man, we can take this thing over. And I've said that a million times over the past 14 years. And I'm going to keep saying it because that's how much I believe in what I see around me, the talent, the stories, the inventive stories we coming with. I mean, man, you put that in one machine or one publishing house or one direction, ain't nobody stopping us. Nobody's stopping us. Period.
I mean,
Period.
I think it's always it all boils down for me to the lack of the true understanding of the nature of the business. Because with the true understanding of the nature of the business, then things actually are looked at from a different perspective. The decision, the moves you make become different because your end goals are bigger.
Yes.
Without that real understanding of the nature of the business, people continue to rely on myths that they've heard about different things, rely on misinformation that they thought they read somewhere but don't really know. I think that the proper understanding of the business of comics definitely is a thing that will help out. And with that proper understanding, I mean, what Ghost Machine has done, and to be correct about it, they've come up with a publishing company, and they're publishing their books through Image. There are all kind of companies out there doing something similar. We publish a book through Dark Horse. We also publish books through Caliber Comics or Caliber Entertainment, which is a much bigger comic book company than we are, with 40, 50 years in the industry. So what they're doing is not new. All of these big name people coming together, or these established artists, it may look like it's something new, but even that's not new, because that's something that's always been done in the formation of some of these other publishing companies that you see gaining imprints from Boom and from Dynamite. Well, when the imprints was big with those companies, but even with Image, with Dark Horse, there are companies that have established with the sole purpose of creating materials to publish to be distributed through larger publishing companies. So
let me ask you, Marcus, because you bring up a sticking point for me. When I see some of these creators who have dope work, and it sort of stays in the limbo of obscurity of always being at the Kickstarter level, right? Like I see, a book that came out as a Kickstarter 3 years ago for issue number 1, and 3 years later they have to do another Kickstarter for issue number 2, and people have forgotten about issue. They've moved on. Comics, comics fans, if you read a lot of books every month, you'll forget about a book you read 3 years ago, and then the next issue is being put up for Kickstarter 2 years later. Why don't more creators take advantage of these independent companies to put out their work that still allows them creative control of their IP and still retain the majority of their profits, just to get the book out more frequently? Why is
a lot of the independent companies that we see don't have the distribution to actually justify a person signing their book with them. Distribution is the key. I've said this for many, many years. Distribution is the key. If you sign your book with a company, and that company takes your book and puts on their website for sale, and that's the only place where your book is, you could have done that. You have not gained any advantage signing with that company for your book to be sitting on the website. So there has to be some type of distribution, whether like I know for a fact with Advent, before Diamond came along, Tony has always had relationships with retail stores. He's always had relationships internationally with stores. He's had a viable distribution network for Advent Comics for years. That's why he can be, or he is as established as he is, because distribution. Distribution is key. So
yeah, I mean,
and that's the reason I started the Unbound Realms specifically for that, because I saw so many good books that sat at Kickstarter level, like you said, and I was like, where do these creators go next? What kind of avenue do they have to take their book from here and give it to the masses? There was none. Well, at the time, I didn't see a lot of that out there. So I started that imprint specifically for that. And now, you know, certain creators came and jumped on board, whether it was younger creators like the crew from Thorn, or whether it was established creators like Mike Byrne before he, went on and did some other stuff. I was publishing his work. He got like 40 years in the game. So I wanted to give people shots, specifically who didn't have the opportunity to take their books to the next level. You know, whether it's through our distribution chain at different places like Amazon and all these different places, comic book shop, or just a matter of what the person wanted to do. But like I said, if they were serious about it, then I'm with you, because I'm not going to invest my time, more importantly, Advent's finances in you, if you're going to just BS it away and you're not going to do no work, because I don't have the time or the patience for that. So if you're about it, serious with it, then hey, let's rock.
Well, there's 2 points. There's 2 points here that the people have made here. Resident 76 says, because as good as any book is, if there is no fan base, the book is dead. And then William Satterwhite makes a really insightful statement. It's all about star power. Ultimately, Ghost Machine, which is this company we have up on the screen, is really no different from, say, Acolyte and how they are set up. But they get New York Times coverage because they are established industry brands.
That's important.
That's a big thing.
Yeah,
that's a big thing. Like, how is what they're doing any different or any better than what Tony's been doing, what Vonnell's been doing, what Lonzo Starr over at Concrete Comics is doing?
I'm about to say I can give you some good answers.
Please.
To understand my background, I didn't have anybody, like, as in I made a Facebook and a social media account just so I can start my comic book ventures. So I had no connections to anybody, so it was kind of really tough to find, like, okay, I got a book, where should I go now? And reaching out to different individuals, they're not messaging you back because you have 0 followers, you have 0 star power, and it's kind of hard to gain that knowledge, that business clout or whatever, to kind of like sell your book and to distribute it, right? And now, as far as when it goes to again, having the difference between us and versus them, let's be real, and this is probably gonna rumble some feathers or whatever. But when you think of Black people, when it comes to, hey, this is a Black independent book, the first thing people try to say is that it's probably going to have bad art or bad lettering or bad something, whatever. It's like the brand of Black owned this is apparently depicted as, instead of it being like, again, a work of art, like, something that looks really decent, it's depicted as something completely different. So the first thing you need to show people images, proof, and all this other stuff. If you look at that group right there, you barely really need to say anything, because, again, first of all, they own the prestige of the New York Times. So just that alone would give them, like, okay, I would trust that, and I would go order for wherever they're at. If you say, hey, look, this is a Black owned business and such for this Black owned comic book, again, the world has been painted us as something completely different from whatever they got going on. And that's just, again, this is from me trying to travel up the ranks and try to get into, like, even when it comes to stores, because one of the first things they said was that, hey, look, I feel like you're not coming back, so no, I do not want your book in my store. So, bruh, I came up month after month bringing, here's issue 1, here's issue 2, Here, issue 3. It took all the way up to issue 4 for me to say, for the dude is like, okay, all right, I'll take you in my store if you're gonna keep coming back like this, you know. So I was bringing out books a month, and the thing about it is, when you start getting to another problem. Now it's too many books, and now people was like, it's too many books. I'll wait for a volume book to come out. By the time then, it's like, yo, I finally got into the store, and now you're dealing with a completely different problem, and that's the people. It's too many books for somebody to buy. So it's a lot of different structures, small ticks that will actually bring down that actual indie creator. And again, from my standpoint, where people, you reach out to different creators, they don't message you back. They don't see any type of opportunity. They're working for Marvel and DC, and they're okay with that check to check thing, and they don't want to own anything. The biggest thing that we need to do is own something, and control it as well.
Are you talking about in terms of publishing?
It's in terms of publishing. It can be anything, because you can get published through Image Comics, but again, you still own your property, the IP, yeah. But the thing is, again, we got to start changing the status quo, the mindset. You know, the standard should be, we need to fight to have ownership, and every time we say black owned, it shouldn't mean trash. It should mean, yo, this about to be some heat that's different from the rest. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of stuff that we need to start addressing before we even start thinking about, like, yo, to get to, say, point all the way to point Z. We got to start way back on point A, change the status quo, start changing the mindset of, hey, look, when you reach out to somebody, you know, see if there's an opportunity. Actually,
I have a question.
give it the time.
I have a question.
Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
I don't mean to interrupt you, brother. I just have a question.
Go ahead.
My question is this, and this is for everybody. Is the black comic book community, is it strong? Or not?
Very strong.
Very strong. Okay.
Very strong. As evident.
What do you mean by the black comic community? Are you talking about the creator community, the fan community?
Well, I mean,
that's a good question.
What I'm getting at is that we got people in the space that are skilled, writers, artists, but I'm talking about the consumer base.
Oh, yep.
The consumer base is my concern, because the thing is, for me, for a book like Delta Dolls to get off the ground, to be successful, even Advent, even Second Sight, all of these companies that we're talking about, Concrete, whomever, Godhood,
Stranger,
the community, you know, has you guys need a base where, you know, it's like, okay, I want to sell this book, and I already know that my people that are in this community got me.
Right.
Do you guys have that confidence, or is it shaky? In your opinion,
it's shaky
on my end.
Yeah,
it's shaky. I see you laughing, Tony. Go ahead and admit it.
Yeah, I ain't going to be the first one to say it. Now, even with Evan, we've been around for 14 years, going on 15 years. There are a lot of people in the black community don't even know we exist. They don't even know we're a black-owned, black-operated company who've been doing it. Not only do we do it well, we got people to work for DC and Marvel to work for us. So, I mean, we do our thing, but most people don't know about us because they don't check outside the big two. The big two, of course, they got 80 plus, 90 years of head start on us. We can't.
Right.
But by the same token, if you say you want original characters, if you say you want black-owned properties, if you say you want functional black storytelling that you haven't seen before, look for us. Look for all of us. When I say us, I mean all of us, the community.
That hurts my soul to hear you say that, man.
No,
that means the black comic lovers need to step our game up so that more people know about you.
I'm being honest with you. I mean, you asked the question.
Yeah.
Sipping on my
I mean, listen. I want the reason why I brought that question up was I want us to be advocates.
Yeah.
Okay.
For the creators.
Absolutely.
And so
it's a synergy. I mean, we need you, and you all, need us, to feed your hobbies and your desires. But like the same token, we need you. Don't ever get it twisted where you think Advent or Second Sight or Millennial Comics or Spirit Destiny that we don't need. No. We need you. We want you. And we're coming asking you, hey, support us. We're going to give you what you're looking for. Just check for us.
Frustrated
it's
says,
funny,
I would admit there's a lot of times I only see these Black created comic companies at cons. Is marketing an issue? Is exposure an issue for you guys?
For the majority of Black creators, it may be. But I'm gonna tell you like this, and I'm a humble guy, so let me preface that by saying it. But if you don't see Advent Comics, you ain't looking, because we're at Amazon, we're on our own website, we're at Barnes and Noble, we're at the old Comixology, we're Drive-Thru Comics, Indie Planet, every comic book store you can think of. We even got into Walmart last year, and Target is on the way. Probably won't happen to the beginning of the new year. But I mean, if you ain't looking for us, then you ain't looking for us, because we out there and we do cons too. So I'm sure there are other creators, Stranger Comics, Godhood is blowing up, Dream Fury. I mean, there's so many of us out there doing amazing stuff.
Yes.
You have to, if you're looking for good black content, you're gonna find it. Trust me, you're gonna find it. You don't have to go to a con to do it. You can look at your stores, because we're out there. We're all out there.
Bison for Life says, I think the Black comic creator community needs a solid collective social media platform to signal boost the material.
I was trying to say that. I will wait for everybody to talk, boy. Social media, guys.
Bison for Life, my man. DMV native.
I'll wait. But yes.
I thought we're on it.
Yeah, I mean, this platform is.
Trust me, you guys work. I'm gonna be honest with you two right here. I've been trying to get with you all for a long time, because I see how much pride and how big you are on bigging up the community. So my hat goes off to you, Herschel, the whole crew, Derek behind the scenes, the whole clique at Black Comic Lords. You guys do amazing work for us. And like I said, for me to be here, this is just like, man, say when. Because y'all doing it for us. And y'all don't get enough recognition for what you do. So, hey, look here. Anytime I got a chance to help y'all do something, say the word, because y'all are doing it for us. So I appreciate you.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that.
I want to circle back to the comments about the Black comic book community.
Yes, sir.
One of the things that we often overlook is the moves that the big two are making to cater specifically toward Black consumerism. And because of those moves that they make, that's what we as independent comic book creators have to battle against. We don't battle against each other. And that whole thought process needs to be eliminated. Like, I don't compete against Advent. I compete with Advent. Right. We're on the same team. We're on the same sideline, trying to score the same goal. Right. But in the Black comic book community, and this also goes back to that cliquish thing, you have people who say, oh, I'm fans of Concrete, and I won't buy nothing but Concrete stuff, and that's all they buy, Concrete. Well, that's good for Concrete. Lonzo Starr is my man. Good for Concrete. But as a consumer, you need to expand, spread your dollar, give somebody else some of that money, give another company a chance. I mean, and we get locked in. It's like back in the day, the wrestling. All right, you had a fan of Mr. Wrestling #1. You had a fan of this other person, and those fans are fighting against each other. But the two wrestlers are sitting there arm in arm, like, man, look at them fellas. Right. They don't have the beef. It's the fans.
It's
the same thing with the comic book community, with the Black comic book community.
Yeah, it's funny you
the
said
creators themselves, the companies themselves, as we said here tonight, we talk to each other. We can reach out at any given point on any given day to any given company and say, hey, can you help me with this? Hey, I need advice with this. Hey, can you do this? And you get a response. And the fans need to understand that just like we spread the love amongst ourselves, they need to spread the love amongst everyone else.
That's how he is during the Comic Cons, guys.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because everybody used to try to pit at one point Advent and Concrete against each other, and not knowing behind the scenes, me and Lonzo was cool. As a matter of fact, Lonzo's acolyte and one of his other characters, Jamel's Absolver, they appeared in a big crossover book I'm doing called Cosmos. Matter of fact, the same issue, Dorphise lent me her Spirit Destiny character. So we had Wingless Comics who gave us their Justice character. So they were all in the same issue, and people were like, bro, how you do that? I thought y'all were beefing with each other. Like, who told you that? Where'd you get that idea from? I was like, nah, these other creators, so I want to see win. So I put them in my book. And I was like, you looking at us coming together. And they were like, oh, we thought y'all would be beefing. Why? Why do you think something like that? Whoever said that? It's not about that. It's about all of us coming together, doing stuff to raise the community as a whole. So that's how I look at it.
This beefing thing is interesting.
I don't beef. I just got beefers.
Well, you got people beefing against you, Dorphise. What you said
for no reason.
For no reason.
No reason
This is why the beef thing is amazing to me. This is. I just keep it 100 with y'all. This is our problem with our people. You know, this crabs in the barrel mentality. It's just like Marcus. I think it was Marcus. You just said, you're not competing against each other. It's y'all versus everybody else. Look at this. Look at this pie chart.
I support everybody, no matter what the genre is, because I want to read good writing. Okay,
right.
That's just the type of person I am. It could be horror. It could be noir. I just wrote my first noir 6-pager. I've never wrote a noir comic pages, and you know, people was like, "Oh my gosh, Dorphise, I love your 6 pages." That was my first time writing that, and Marcus convinced me to write a horror story. 11-page of horror. And now I'm working on my first horror comic, and he's gonna be the editor. So it's like, you know, I like to read different genres because, like, I don't want to read superheroes all the time. You know,
I love the fact that with y'all, you're working with each other. But when I hear stories about how this person has issues with this person, this creator has approach, it blows my mind. I want you to look at this chart. You have general mainstream fandom. Larger circle. That's movies, comics, whatever you're into, whatever your fandom is, manga, anime, what have you. Then you got comics. Then you got comics, mainstream comics, right? You got that red circle. The main beyond that, you've got blurreddom. You've got general blurreddom. That includes anime and manga and, you know, just black people liking nerdy stuff, whatever that is. And then within that time, within those two crossovers, is that tiny little black dot. That's all of us. In all of fandom, that tiny little dot is us right now. That's the black comic book community.
And
right? And so the idea that we're beefing with each other or not trying to help each other or feel that we are competitive against each other is absurd. I mean, look at the comments. I think Derek said here, a rising tide lifts all boats.
Get a bomb out of here.
But like when I first started, there was people that didn't want to help. They felt like sometimes some people feel like you're a threat. They don't want to, they think you're going to take away their fan base. But I'm like, how can we take away your fan base if you're bringing consistent material? Me, I haven't been consistent in a while, but people are always saying, "Oh, you need to bring this and that," and I'm like, okay, I need to go back because I took a pause because my mental health was more important than anything, and I don't understand the beef, and I don't understand people like trying to break you in any way, shape, or form. So this is what I've been witnessing within the community. This is what I've went through, and I've witnessed with other people as well. But it is our people that's attacking each other. Like I've witnessed what Greg has gone through. You know, I've talked to him, and it's crazy because like we thought we would be one, but you know, some of us are turning each other down, and it's crazy. Like I just shed my I just look into the field, and I'm like, okay, you got it. That's just the type of person I am. I say because one of these days we have to meet with each other, and we're gonna have to talk. Because me, I don't like negative energy. You know, I only love positive energy. Like when Tony came in my inbox and told me to put in my my work, that's what I did. I gave it to him because I love working with Tony. He has great energy, but bad energy, we have a lot of that within the community, and I can't deal with it. I'm sorry, that's just
I
me.
think that it's interesting to me because I'll approach it from this perspective. I think sometimes what happens is, and this is no excuse for anyone, but if you're doing something like we're talking about art, right, and writing, and it takes skill. And so if someone comes along and someone sees your skill level and they can be intimidated by it because it may be better, it may be not as good as theirs, or they may, you know what I'm saying, people can feel insecure in a way about when they see something else kind of come along down the pipe. And again, it's I think that's just quote unquote human nature. Because if I show up with, let's say I show up with a glass of water, but it's cloudy, right? And Dorphise, you show up with a crystal clear glass of water. I'm already intimidated because your glass looks better than mine. So I might feel like, okay, well, no one's going to stop accepting me because, again, I'm looking at what I'm doing. Whereas in this particular art form, it should be a place where, I should be encouraged. I'm like trying to find out, how'd you do that? Or, you know what I'm saying? I was going to ask earlier about mentorship, because I think that's something I don't, you guys talk behind the scenes, like you said, but does mentorship ever come into play? Because I feel like we just lost an artist, I think, was it a couple of days ago or yesterday, a Marvel artist or DC artist. And a lot of these guys, and a lot of these guys have, that know these artists, whatever, go back to stories that I remember when he did this for me, he said this. But what is the conversation like when it comes to our artists? Is mentorship or is leadership a part of the equation, if that makes any sense?
Yes, it is, because my mentors, I had a lot of mentors. William, I see he's in the comments. He was one of them when I was with when we was under the same brand. Marcus, like all the guys that I speak to, they were part of my mentorship. And now I'm mentoring other new creators. I'm giving them the light. I'm giving all the information that they need because they want to be part of this industry, and we need more Black folks in the industry. Like 2020, it was only 65 Black women, and within the industry. So, and I have I'm working with 5 right now that I'm mentoring. I'm giving them the help that they need. So I'm big on mentorship, and I'm always getting criticism. I always take criticism and advice from other creators that have been in the game longer than me. So
I think we have 2 big things that I feel like the community really needs to focus on, whether that be the creator side or the consumer side. One is that, in which you guys probably, I feel like is the biggest one, and I feel like you guys should be a lot bigger. And once I see the community shifting, I feel like I will see that through you guys' channel, and that's of course the platform of when a Black creator comes out. Either if he's good, he can go through, what I'm saying, he can get on your platform, blow up instantly, right? If he's not good, what I'm saying, of course he'll have to go on the other side of what I'm trying to say is, of course, again, the platform, which is you guys, Black comic lords, and then the other side would be the mentorship, just like how y'all mentioned. hey, if he's not able to have that skill to again be on your platform because he's not ready yet or she's not ready yet, then he can go through, or he or she can go through some type of again mentorship to train them up to be, you know what I'm saying, to be better, you know, to have that business aspect, to have that the art, the writing and everything else that they need to have so they can be able to reach the comic book community in a nice way, you know, the best first impression, if that makes sense.
Okay, so me giving somebody a UPS application, that's not helping.
UPS application.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I got jokes. No, but real talk. You just said something. Vonnell. I think it's critical, and what I'm getting at is this, because you're right. There sometimes people will approach us, and we're not sure about it, and we don't really know, you know, which direction we should send them. And for us, we want to be advocates. This is my own personal mission in terms of Black comic laws, to be an advocate for the community, whether we're talking about creators, whether we talk about writers, or we're talking about the fandom itself. Because here's a bit of irony, guys. Just like you have issues behind the scenes with some, we have that same issue.
You gonna put us on blast? You gonna put our dirty laundry out there?
No, but I'm just saying that exists on our scale. It's not just something that, you know, you guys are germane to. It affects us as well. So, but again, you know, we try to you pick and choose your battles, right? So for us, it's like, okay, if I see a guy and I'm really, really excited about matter of fact, my man's here, Vonnell. I remember when Vonnell approached me with Delta Dolls, right? And I was just impressed by the fact that this is probably the blackest comic book I ever read. And what I mean by that was 7 cousins going to a family reunion and they get powers along the way. Sign me up for that. Twice on Sunday. So, but you know, I immediately identified with his characters, and so those are the kind of things that I think that we need to get as advocates or influencers, whatever you want to label you want to give us. Because a lot of times, I'll be honest with you, Tony, if I don't really know per se what your character is about or your characters or your book's about, I might not be as receptive. Does that make sense? Because again, that's kind of how I was introduced to Delta Dolls. I was literally introduced to him. He said, "Hey man, I just want you to check out my book," and I just immediately identified it. So it's like all of us, you know, we're in this fandom together, and sometimes there are things that resonate with me that may not resonate with the next guy. But you know, as being advocates for you guys, or whatever, I want to be able to like, hey, if this is hot, I'm going to tell somebody about it. I'm going to put it in somebody's hand. I'm going to insist. Paul will tell you, if I see something that John Blaze, he's going to know about it, because that's just the essence of fandom. You know what I'm saying? It's like, man, when I was a kid, shout out to you, Marcus. I'm 56. When I was a kid, I had nobody to talk about Black Lightning with. How amazing that character was. And it was like, I was the only kid at my school that read comic books. But now that social media is here, we're able to do that. So somehow or another, we got to figure out a way to be more in sync with one another, if that makes any sense. So we can grow, you know, not only you guys' fan base, but we can grow this whole community together.
Now, hearing that, let's. There's a couple comments I want you guys to see. First one by William Satterwhite. The comic book industry as a whole is somewhat closed off, catering to the direct market. Black creators in particular are primed to expand and reach audiences beyond the direct market.
That goes directly to distribution, and that's
a distribution question. And I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I think it's important financially for you to have alternative ways of getting your books to your audiences. If they can go to your website and purchase it directly to you financially, that's better for you, right? Because you're not going through that third party to distribute your books. They don't have there's less cuts on, there's less VIGs to spend out on the pie. But for purposes of longevity, long term, having those books distributed, I'm a big proponent of this. Having those books distributed at your LCS on the shelves is huge for your longevity, because that is where people who may not be big on social media or don't come across your website, that don't know about you, may find out about you. They see you on the shelf and say, hey, let me try this book out. Oh, let me add that to my pull list. I didn't even know this book was coming out. That's why I think even if they find you in a back issue bin later on, they'll say, hey, let me go check these people out. I want to get some more of this. That's how that happens. It's more organic that way.
I'm going to say that I slightly disagree in the sense that the goal for me personally is to put my comic books in the hands of everyone who likes comic books, no matter who you are. I'm going to do that. So I have a website that I can do that from, and that's good. But I don't believe that putting all of your eggs in one basket is necessarily good.
No, I'm not saying put it all in one basket. I'm saying spread it out everywhere.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
everywhere.
Yeah, because different revenue streams can keep longevity going. Now, I might not be hitting this month on Amazon, but I got comic book sales, and I got my sales at Barnes & Noble. I got my sales through comic book shops, just keeping me afloat. So the more revenue streams that you have, the better. And that's just business 101. So, I mean, if you're able to be able to do it, spread it out. Spread it out. Like I said, get your books selling digitally. Get them selling in stores. Get them selling at cons. I mean, the way to do it is to try to be everywhere. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to be everywhere.
But on that point, Bison for Life says cons should not be the only medium to reach an audience.
Yes.
I preached for years for them to go to HBCU homecomings, CIAA tournament, and HBCU football classics. Esports is growing in that space. What do y'all think about that?
That's a perfect example of what we need to start doing. We are in places as a community that we're starting to get noticed, but for us to really take it to the next level, we have to reach beyond our comfort zones. Places like HBCUs are perfect for us to take it to that next level, because you have people who look like us who would be more apt to possibly giving us a chance. Oh, well, wow, you got a black comic book? Never saw one of those here before. Let me go ahead and check that out. And if we can do things of that nature and always think outside the box and keep it fresh, I do believe that we'll get the fans that we're looking for and the responses we're looking for. So that's a good idea.
It's all about the hustle, because when
all about the hustle.
When I first got exposed to the West Coast rap, the first West Coast rapper that I really heard was Too Short. I'm in Georgia listening to Too Short. Now think about that. Too Short's reputation was such that he rode around with his stuff in his trunk because he didn't have any type of distribution deal with any type of music studio.
All of them did.
I used to knock on doors.
He rode around with his stuff. He sold his stuff wherever he was.
Right.
So taking that to heart, to heart. I sell my comic. I ride around with my comic books in my trunk. I just did a charity event this past Friday. I'm connected with the African American museums here in the state of Florida. I'm selling books. I'll pull up on my wife's jobs and say, I'm going to cash a check in the bank, and struck up a conversation about comic books and set up in the parking lot and sold books. It's all about the hustle.
Derek, is it possible for us to play Pusher Man by Curtis Mayfield right now?
These youngers don't know about that.
They don't know
How
about that.
bad do you want it? I mean, really, it boils down to that. How bad do you want it?
That's it.
Because it's not going to come to you.
Nope, it's a dog.
And if it is, and when it does come to you, it only comes to you because you cleared the path for it to come.
Yeah.
Because you put the time in and the man hours, so it will gravitate your way.
Derek has a question. He says the younger audience doesn't seem to. Derek says the younger audience doesn't seem to gravitate towards floppies anymore. Do you have a point of view or strategy on expanding to that audience? These Generation Z millennial people that they're just in the trade paperbacks or digital. Well, how do you strategize to outreach to that generation? Not the old heads like me with
the most read
comics.
Publishers. Well, we are one of the most read publishers on Global Comics, on the Global Comics app, on the Global Comics website. Of the top 20 horror comic books on the Global Comics, which is a digital comic book app, a digital comic book platform, of the top 20, we got 4 books. We had 7 books in there, but it kind of fell off. 4 of the top 20 books. We got the number 3 manga on that digital comics platform. And we have at least 2 books that are in the top 20 for popular LGBTQ and popular manga. Yeah, our strategy is to go with the flow. We see where the times are. Everybody owns a phone. Everybody has some type of device, phone, tablet, some type of device. Global Comics moved toward that by developing this app. So, and I've talked to a lot of Black publishers, including Tony, about moving on the Global Comics app, moving toward there, because everybody has a phone. Now, for a person to be able to just go to that app and pull up my book, pull up Second Sight Publishing, pull up our stuff. They can subscribe to get the new books. They can purchase books, but it is there because, us old guys, we still like our floppies. But
yes, sir.
The younger generation,
I like my floppies too. Thank you very much.
Well,
I think Black Sands even has a full-blown app where you can read for free, like the first issues of their books.
I was about to say that.
I think you have to take advantage of technology because it's there.
14 years ago, I got some of the best advice I was going to get when I was starting Advent. Christopher Priest told me, I was like, what should I do to try to stand out? He was stressing digital. He was like, go digital, young man. He said, that's the way to move. I've always had digital in the works, whether it was through Kindle and Nook. I was on that when it first came out. Digital platforms like Comixology, Drive Through Comics, Indie Planet, on them too. Global Comics, I'm on there with Marcus too. That's where the younger generation is going. Like you said, it's a way that they can take and carry comics with them wherever they want to go, because they all about instant gratification now. So digital is the way that some of the younger people are moving. So we keep them. We keep on all the platforms that they tend to like, and so that's probably the best way to do it. If you're not into floppies anymore, digital is the way to go.
Along those lines, Dion suggests that getting into other realms such as movies and TV is the key, because he notes Castlevania, which has been blown up on the internet, did this new series on Netflix called Castlevania Nocturne, where they made these black vampire characters, and it's been blowing up in the blurred community for the younger generation. That might be another area.
At the present, I'm dabbling with getting into that, but I did it. I always do everything in reverse. I do it on my end first, and then I work my way into that market. I have a comic book called Blakemore. It's on our Unbound Rams line, and it's based on a TV show /
on Tubi.
On Tubi, there it is. So basically, I'm opening the doors for that, but I can't talk on that just yet. But yeah, I do it in reverse. I do a lot of things in reverse, but you can look for me to eventually expand that way too.
I think Titan the Ultraman should be right on there with Amazon Prime and Invincible. I'm just putting it out there.
Like I said, I'm working on a lot of things, and next year it's our 15th anniversary. It's also going to be the year Titan. I'm just going to tell y'all that now. Yeah. A lot I can't say, but just know.
I'm gonna put this in the universe because I went to film school. I am working on animation scripts, so Tony and Vonnell, since it's my first time meeting you, I'm gonna want you guys, part of the animation that I'm gonna be working on.
That's what I'm talking about.
I don't want to be only doing comics because I'm
making those connections.
Oh yeah. Because I have people in Haiti that know how to do animation, and also I'm gonna be working on a video game script. So I want to expand and do other things at the same time.
And I have to add, we don't talk about this a lot, but we have 8 titles that have already been optioned for film and television.
What?
I'm surprised
those titles have already been greenlit.
You and I have talked, and I know this about you, but I never put another company's business out there, even though I might know stuff behind the scenes. I wait till you all say, "Hey, this is what we're doing," and I congratulate you publicly. But I've known this for a while, and I'm like, bruh, that's something y'all should be yelling to the masses right now.
Y'all dropping gems right now. This is why.
That's funny.
That was a Black Comic Lords exclusive.
It's all about.
Keep your hand off the button.
It's all about the hustle. It's all about understanding business. I mean, we see Marvel and DC. We even see Antarctic Press and some of these other places doing things, and we don't ask why. We ask why not. Why aren't we doing it? Why not us? You know why not us? Because we have not gone after it. So we started going after it. We've had our images that have been in movies. Like I said, we have the books that have been optioned. I mean, and not to brag, but to state a fact. Okay, I did a con. The con had celebrities. The celebrities were talking amongst each other, and one asked the other one who purchased the book from me where they get the book from. The celebrity said, "I got it from this company. I've heard of them." So these people live out in Hollywood, and yet they have heard of us. And the other person comes around the corner and purchases more books. So yeah, we are doing our thing. We are unapologetic about how we do it, and we do it with Black owned, Black run at the start of the sentence.
Yeah, that was just a little too casual for me. How Marcus just dropped that.
He just dropped it, right? Just like I was
behind the scenes podcast where he said that.
Hey, let me tell you something, Marcus. I'm gonna need you to take that radio voice you got and do some Alfred Hitchcock type stuff.
You too, Rich.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, bro. I'm just saying. I mean, look. I as a horror guy, I love horror stories. I love what you do in the second sight. I mean, look, if you got more stuff coming down the pike, you gotta let us know, bro. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just let us know. Somebody asked the question. Actually, H&H, he asked the question. He says, "What is the most meaningful thing that the Black comic lord should do right now in order to boost the Black comic creators?" So,
how can we help you?
Yeah,
that's
help us.
I'm about to say this.
You give us a platform.
Yeah, you're doing it right now.
Yeah. And as a matter of fact, I'm gonna give you a little nugget since Mark's one drop gems.
Wait! Before you give us the nugget,
this is a Black Comic Lords exclusive.
We need to make that dude's voice a little bit more black. I'm just saying. Go ahead, brother. What you gonna tell us?
What you got, bro?
So I haven't had a chance to speak with Mr. Young yet, but the rest of your panel just here tonight, we are involved in a project that's probably gonna shake the world. It's probably going to be something that I think you all will find beneficial. We're putting together the first Black creators crossover event. And when I say creators event, I mean everybody. I threw the hat up, and the Black Avengers came running.
Oh,
everybody else that came running. Yeah. So, and
Tony gonna have me get emotional.
Yeah,
be all of my feelings right now.
Stop it.
Hey, Mr. Young's paths have never crossed yet, so I wasn't able. I've seen his work from afar, but we haven't been able to chop it up. But I'm gonna hit him up too. But I think your fans and the Black comics community as a whole is gonna appreciate what we are bringing down the pipe. So I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna leave it alone. But y'all got something big coming. Something big.
Y'all heard it here first. Y'all heard it here first. Get your pre-orders in. I know the book's not out yet. Get your pre-orders in from now.
It's gonna be mean. I'm telling y'all now, because the amount of Black talent we got lined up, y'all ain't ready for it.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's what's up.
And this is something that Tony and I talk about all the time. Is we're in a position as owners of our own publishing company to do things such as this. Like part of my motivation for putting volume 1 of Shook together was I said I felt like the Black comic book community deserves a dream team of writers and artists, because other comic book entities, they get together and do stuff all the time. Right. So why not us?
Marcus knows what he's talking about, y'all. As y'all can see on the screen, this is the upcoming Shook
Rodney, Bradley,
book,
David,
the Black Horror Anthology. Look at I look every time we bring this book up. What do I say? This is the talented 10th of the Black comic creator community.
There it is.
There's so much talent on this roster. It's frightening. I honestly have no idea how Bradley and Marcus got this team together.
Just the writers.
We ask everybody.
This is what's possible. I'm speaking to y'all, the Black comic creators community. This is what's possible when you get out of your own way. Put your ego to the side. Make crossroads. Extend the hand of friendship. Recognize that you're in this with a community of others that are just like you, and this is what's possible. Making history. Talk about this right here, Marcus. Go ahead, tell the people about this.
Well, with as you see with volume 1 and what we're able to do, and we realized the history that was being made. But as we were putting the book together, we started coming across a lot of names that weren't men. And we were like, you know what? Okay, volume 2 is going to be Black women, period. Volume 2, Black women. And that's what we did. We sent out invitations. We asked people. Some of the participants, this is their first project of this type, but they were all game to do this. And just like with volume 1, the women you see represented here, you see Glyph Awards, you see Ignite Awards, you see Eisner Awards, you see Ringo Awards. I mean, like, this is a group of people not to be slept on.
You had me at Aletha Martinez and Tana Ravi do.
Oh, don't sleep on Colleen Douglas or Micheline Hess.
Colleen Douglas. I want to specifically say something about Colleen because she made the comment about bringing people from overseas over into the comic book space. When I saw Colleen and saw her work, I was like, where you at? Where you been? And she said, hey, I'm over here in the UK. I'm struggling trying to get into the US market. So I said, okay, hold on.
Wow.
Hit up Tony. I said, hey, Tony, I just saw some of the nicest stuff ever. And
is Colleen on our Facebook? Colleen, are you on our Facebook group? Post your stuff in our Facebook group.
I'll have something for you soon.
Oh no, you don't.
She said, "Hey, I told Tony, man, we have to do something." Now she told me about her book Silk Cotton, which is coming through Rosarian Publishing. But she was like, she started telling me about all her editorial experience. She started showing me her work, and I said, "Look, sister, I'm finna get you in." And like I said, I hit Tony up. Tony said, "Hey, you know what? I was just looking at some of her stuff. So it's got to be meant to be." Yeah. And true enough, they talked, and he signed her and is publishing a book from her.
It's coming to comic book stores everywhere. March for Women's Comic Book Month. You're going to see Vic.
Got a month?
Yeah. Yes, it's in March. Diamond celebrates it in March.
Oh,
Dorphise's eyes just blew up.
Yeah,
a whole month.
Yeah.
Oh my! I didn't even know that.
So,
I'm going to send a shout out to Julie Anderson. She's also among the writers.
She's your
artist. She's the one who drew issue 2.
She's mean.
Yeah, Julia is the cover artist for the book and is contributing a story as well as the artwork. I mean, when I was like talking with all the women here in the book, and I was letting them know that this is really something that's historic. If you look in comics, I mean, just the whole of comics, you will not find a comic book with all Black women in it.
Yeah.
Y'all don't realize what Second Sight is doing. Second Sight, from their inception, has been creating Black comic book history. From day one to this point right here, they've been giving the community nothing but gems. Please support these brothers, please.
Well, I appreciate that, and we do need the support. We do need the support because, like, when we talk about comic books, and I know our Black comic book lords can attest to this, we don't see a lot of celebration of Black women in comics.
Right.
And you wonder, you have to ask yourself why. And the reason is because we don't put them out there like that.
Well, we don't put them out there like that.
We don't brag enough about them because they are there, and I know they're there. And how I know they're there is because, as I mentioned before, working with the World of Black Heroes in the 9 years that I worked with the World of Black Heroes and scouring the comic book industry for independent comic book creators, I've spoken to a lot of Black women creators that say we don't get the shot, we don't get that look, we don't get that opportunity. And then they come across the misogynistic men who, instead of seeing them as equals, they see them as lessers. So
preach.
It's giving them a shot. My father was a coach in high school. He coached girls varsity track and girls varsity basketball, and he had state champions in those sports. And the hustle, the strength, the determination I saw from those young women, it stuck with me. It sticks with me even now. I have a twin sister. She is every bit of my equal. So I know I know it can be done. I know what's out there. And I own a publishing company. Guess what? I'm going to put it out there.
There you go.
Who you going to tell? Bradley going to tell you, man, you better not bother Marcus. For real, who are you going to tell? And because we have, and I hate to sound, braggadocious and acting cocky or whatever.
Self-published.
Go ahead and talk.
It's not bragging. It's smart.
You have to move with positivity. You have to move like you aren't scared, because if you're scared, you won't do it.
The industry will eat you up. So if people say, "Oh, he too cocky. That firefighter, he think he the man." Yeah, I'm gonna walk in like that because that's what I need to do. I'm gonna kick in some doors like I do in my real job. I'm gonna kick in doors. I'm gonna make y'all notice Advent Comics, and then finally they started to notice. And they was like, "Okay, he for real. He's serious with it."
You can't scare a brother that walks into a building that's on fire.
Ever. Nothing on 2 legs. Right, me. Ever.
Man, y'all see the size of Tony? You better watch out for Tony.
Tony's a teddy bear.
Exactly.
They need to be scared of me.
I'm a gentle giant.
Well,
I don't mess with nobody unless they mess with me.
A young creator had a question for y'all.
Self-published. That's what I was trying to say. Try self-publishing first, because you got to go through that journey first. You got to go through those trials and tribulations. Don't try to get published, because I went through I'm going to speak on my experience. I went through a black publisher. It was not a great experience, but I wouldn't say all black publishers are horrible, because we have Tony and Marcus on here, and we have Vonnell, but that's just from my experience. So, but I think you should get self-published first to go through that experience. You got to build
brother, you got 3 black publishers on this live right now. Reach out to them.
Yeah.
See if they're willing to publish your book.
A lot of people ask, what should I do? They want to go through the Images and the Marvels and DCs. And I quick to tell them, like, I publish comics, but why won't you do it yourself? If you really want to get your book out there, you can do it yourself. And I say that for 2 reasons, because what you say to me next determines how I take you. If you're serious about your work, or if you just want to, I'm gonna let somebody else publish my work, I'm gonna sit back and just collect some funds. It don't work like that.
What's the name of that website? Are you guys familiar with that website where you can upload your own comics to the website and people can order the comics and have it printed directly? Like, it's not printed until they order.
Is it Comics West?
What's it called?
Indie Planet.
Indie Planet.
Okay.
Try that, brother. If try Indie Planet. I'm surprised more creators don't use that for their initial book.
But by the same token, we want to see your work as well. You never know; it might be something good. I'm interested in publishing. But I want to see. Like I said, I'm not gonna outwork the creator of their book. And when I say that, I mean, if you out there hustling and you want your book to succeed, you're going to put in the work behind it. I'm not going to do more work on your book to make your book a success than you are. I will never do that.
That's. Oh no! Go ahead. I will wait.
Oh no, I'm good. I'm finished. I just want people to know that I have to see that you are working hard or diligent about making your book a success. Because, like I said, my time and my resources are too valuable to just throw away. If you're not going to work, then there's no need for me to believe that you're serious about what you're doing. And if you're not serious, why should I be serious about it?
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was about to say, was that you got hundreds, thousands of different people that want to say, hey, I got this book idea and this and that, and they want to again try to ask, like, hey, can you publish me and things like that. But we have to see that you're willing to work just as hard as anybody else, because for real, creating the actual book is like maybe 10%.
Yeah, that's
like that's like 10% of the work. Everything else comes after, because you got to sell it. You got to find different ways of how to build your own, build a platform where people know you as the creator and stuff like that. It's tons of different things that goes into it. But that if you show a publisher, like, hey, look, not that I just have an idea, that, hey, look here, I have a book, and I want it, published. Like, here's a sample. I just read, take a look at it, this and that. Like, show them that you did a lot of different work and that you're serious about it. Because that's the main thing they want to see. That you're serious, you're consistent.
Book 110%. If I believe in it, that's gonna make me believe in it. And if I believe it and I see this good, then I'll back you to the ends of the earth. I'll do whatever I need to do to make sure you get out there and you shine and you succeed. But you have to show me that you are one to ride or die for your creation, because this is your baby. I mean, nobody's gonna believe in it as much as you are.
Exactly.
So we brought up this picture because anyone who's got talent, a writer, artist, can write up a story or draw a picture. But I think, you guys, all of you mentioned this earlier in 2 parts. One is, why is it a lot of Black creators don't really get going? And it's kind of, and one of the comments you guys made was lack of knowledge. And then another comment was made was understanding the business side of things. And I think this you know, Dr. Wizard made this image as a representation of that. You've got the duck all calm. People see that from the outside, the creative side, the pictures, the editorial side, the writing side. They can see that. But they're a dime. I mean, they're not a dime a dozen, but that's only the surface of what can make a comic book successful or a comic book line successful. A lot of the work that goes into it is underneath the surface. The marketing, the distribution, the production, the fulfillment. You guys are very successful. What can you tell us about that process that you find a lot of creators that don't understand that process?
I mean, it's the act of budgeting, and also like going through the whole entire process and getting also feedback as well. But going through that whole entire process of like, okay, because people, when I first got into the scene, right, again, I was just extremely ignorant to just everything. You know, I seen a comic book, I read the comic books online and stuff like that. That's as much knowledge as I had, like hitting the ground. So, you know, I finally finished all the book, you know, all the internal pages. Okay, well, now you had to come up with a really nice cover. Okay, what should I make this cover be? And the cover is very, very, very important. You cannot, like, the cover might be more important than the internal pages, because that's the thing that's going to really sell it. So, okay, you have to get that. Okay, well, what about the copyrights and stuff? Because you have to include some type of copyright in the book. Oh, and what about the who printed it? You got to include that as well. What about a barcode? Well, how do you even get a barcode? You know, you have to think of a wide variety of different things, and you have to be able to not only do it once, but do it twice and reconstruct, you know, it to make sure you completely understand the whole entire process of, again, from point A all the way to point Z.
Where do you, Vonnell, where do you suggest that someone, or any of you suggest that someone who's new to this process doesn't know how to do that stuff? How do they learn how to do that? How do they learn how to follow those procedures?
Man,
experienced creators and ask.
Yeah, I was about to say ask.
You have myself, Vonnell, Marcus, Dorphise. I mean, if you see any of us on social media or around, ask. None of us are non-approach. We're not, you know, opposed to giving you answers, and you can approach us with it.
Yeah, so, I have so many different creators out.
Yeah, I always stress I may only have a limited number of years in the comic book industry, but I got 3 decades of business experience. I mean, you know, kind of let that sink in. 3 decades of business experience means I should be able to move or make some moves or make something move. You know, so yeah, I'm always willing to sit down and talk with people. One of the things that when I first started on social media, I joined the group ICC, Independent Creators Connection. And we started out when we were just a small group, 600 people or so. We'd have these type of conversations all the time. We were all about helping each other grow, helping each other learn, mentoring each other. And it was a ready-made space of people looking to help. And that's before the group gained, you know, up to 20, I think it's got 20,000 people in there now. And it's hard to really mentor individually like we did back then. But the presence of a mentor, being able to ask a question, being able to, you know, approach someone, and as Tony said, the people you see here on this panel, we're all approachable. We are non-cliquish. You know, we genuinely want to see people succeed, want to see people successful, want to see people get pointed in the right direction. So, I mean, don't be afraid to ask.
Terrence, in the main, I don't say the main clique, but the original 7 of the ICC, Rodney, you had Kid Horse's creator, forgot his name. But anyway, the 7 of them, I got together with them and started doing stuff for them to make their books and properties shine. AP, matter of fact, even put some of them in Cosmos. So they're in Cosmos too. And so I'm trying to big up all the brothers I see that's out here who have a serious desire to make it. Whether you're a big guy, a little guy, if you had that desire, you got that hunger, and you're a dog about it, man, I'm going to work with you and make sure you win. That's it. That's the name of the game.
You guys can approach me anytime. Very friendly.
Yes, but she don't play either, so don't get on her bad.
I don't. I will. I don't.
Yeah, do not get on her
that
bad.
Down south right there.
Yeah, and everything that you have to do, don't let it discourage you of what what all the different things I just list and what everybody else is listing. It's really just one step at a time. You first tackle what needs to be on the front cover, your logo, make sure the logo is readable. Make sure you can even hire somebody. The more you don't know, the more you're going to pay. So I would rather pay. I mean, my advice to you is to pay somebody to edit it and walk along with the editor. You know what I'm saying? Asking them different things, or even getting constructive criticism if you can't
say that part again, Vonnell, about the editor.
Hire an editor. Like, let me tell you this, because I'm one of those people. Like, when I tell you I didn't know nothing going into this thing, I did not know nothing. So one of the first things that people told me, like, hey, bro, you need an editor. I can give you what I first had versus what I have now. It's night and day. It is night and day. Like, people are going to be able to see just based off your logo. Like, this logo wasn't our first logo. Like, you see how it's readable? It's easy. I had all right, I'm about to put a crazy design on there and this and that. I'm like, bro, nobody can read that from a far distance. You got to make it real simple for people. That was something like, again, you wouldn't really learn that on YouTube. You wouldn't even know to search for it. But the thing is, it's going to come from experience. And that's what Tony had said, was that, hey, look, you're going to have to go through it. You're going to have to, like, show me that you want it, because once you get to a publisher, at least like, hey, look, you've been through the trenches and stuff like that. You've been through trying to get through the publishing, and you created a certain amounts and stuff like that. It's going to be little cracks in there that a publisher is going to fill in. But of course, you gotta at least know how to speak the language. You know what I'm
like
saying?
Vonnell said, before you get to that step, know the intangibles. Know how much. If your book is 28 pages, know that this book
it's a
is
floppy.
It's a floppy, or whether it's, if I print it, how many copies it's going to cost to print. I mean, learn intangibles. How much you going to price your book at? Most people don't even think about that. What do you price your book at in order to make it successful? You need to know things like how much your paper costs, how much your printing is going to cost. I mean, little things like that matter when you come to price point. You don't want to sell a book where you're losing money. So you have to learn the business side. You got to learn so much about making comic books. It's a shame. But most people just think, I can draw, I can write, I made a comic book, now I'm gonna get rich. No, you gotta learn. You gotta put some work in.
You gotta learn. One thing that always makes me laugh is when it comes to something like marketing. Okay, like Vonnell was talking about the cover. People don't realize or understand the cover is the very first budgeted market item. The cover is not part of the interior. The cover is your promotional idea to sell the book.
Yep.
So that
go ahead and hire Kanan White or Torrin Clark or Joshua Swaby.
On Hill, the list goes.
And the thing is, you would be surprised how economical these guys are and can be when it comes to understanding where you're at as a creator, particularly an independent creator, where your budget may be at, and what you actually can really afford for them to do. They are very understanding. So don't be afraid to reach out. What they can do is say yes or no. And most of the time they'll say yes if they have the time. And then you could discuss further. Okay, what do you charge? This is what I'm looking for. And they'll explain it to you.
Yes, Frustrated. Marcus Williams is a dope artist. As a matter of fact, first time I got a chance to work with him is for something coming up for our 15th anniversary next year. So look for that. Another gem I'm dropping. Marcus Williams.
So you guys, I mean, you guys are dropping gems left and right about books you got coming out. I want to give the opportunity for each of you to talk about what you have and what you have coming out. Dr. Wizard, can you bring up with these brilliant creators, their works? Dorphise, you're up first.
Well, I'm working on the next volume of Spirit's Destiny.
First, tell these people that are watching right now, what is Spirit's Destiny? Here's your pitch. Give us your pitch.
Spirit's Destiny is a teenage girl who went through chaos. I forgot my pitch, man. I'm just so.
Dorphise, don't embarrass me. Don't embarrass me right now.
It's been a while. Okay, so Spirit's Destiny, basically it's a teenage girl who went through chaos and who fused with a demon, and right now is dealing with turmoil from her cultural past and from her Haitian heritage. I forgot my pitch. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
You mentioned Julie Anderson was one of the
Julie Anderson. Okay, so Julie Anderson drew issue 2. She drew the cover. When I told Julie Anderson about my comic, because she's Ghanaian and we're both from the Caribbean, and I just told her how I wanted the cover. She's the one who drew the cover on the left, and I just told her I just want some zombie hands because it's dealing with death. Spirit does deal with death. And this is what she came up with when I saw the art, because she showed me the pencils. I was blown away. That was the first time a woman drew Spirit, and she drew the whole comic book. So I was blown away. So I issue 2, I promoted the most because I think that was my best artistic and creative side. Because issue 1, I feel like I was a novice, but I got better when I started working on issue 2.
Who did the cover of issue 2? Because it looks very much like Afua Richardson's art. Is that the Jean Anderson?
Which one are you talking about, on the left?
Yeah, on the right, issue 2.
On the right, that's Anthony. You know the guy that was that came out with the I forgot his last name, but that's Anthony. He drew that cover for me. He's supposed to be having animated series with 50 Cent.
Oh, you're talking about Trill?
Yes. Yeah. He drew that for me, and he was so busy. So he drew that for me, and it took him like 3 months because he was working on his animation script. But I was just so delighted with it. So
it's fine.
It's fine. And he told me I could hit him up anytime. And also I worked with what's his name? My issue 3. I didn't see you guys. Yeah, Anthony Piper. So issue 3.
Thank you, William.
Because he was there. Okay, William been there for everything with me because I was under the same brand, so he know who I work with. Issue 3, I also work with a comic book legend. He's gonna kill me because I forgot his name. So
Larry Strowman.
Okay, you see, I was gonna say Larry, but I wanted to make sure I didn't know his last name, but Larry Strowman, he cursed me out. So he had cursed me out for because I was not promoting my comic book, and he's very big on that. He's like, "Oh, Jean, you need to come back out there," but. Larry got out the hospital and he just sent me the cover. He was like, "Oh, Gene, I got it done." I'm like, "Whoa." I said, "You just got out the hospital, you drawing my cover?" So yeah, he got that done. He told me anything I want, he'll do it for me. This is why I said I have a lot of mentorship, because you know these guys, they may be grumpy like Marcus, but they're going to be there for me. You know. So yeah, you see how he did
that's you can clearly see Larry Strowman's artwork on the right.
Yes. And Julie did the left side. Julie did the left side. I didn't tell Julie what to draw. I just told her go ahead, you know, just be creative. So she did the left side and Larry did the right.
That's what's up.
And Gail Simone, she loves the left side. So when I saw her at C2E2, she took both issues and that cover. She loved that cover. So and she told me I need to start procrastinating because I procrastinate a lot.
So you got 3 issues out. Where can people buy these issues?
Well, they can contact me because I'm still updating my website. Spirit's Destiny Studios, and on Instagram, and also Spirit Destiny U on X, formerly known as Twitter. Oh, that's my next issue that's coming. I'm dropping it next week. That is my kind of what I was speaking to you guys about, who was rebellious towards the French, okay, who poisoned the French, and he was actually burned alive. That is a true story. So I turned him into a superhero. I had a guy named CJ because I felt like he was a better fit as a writer, and he did a marvelous job for issue 1 and 2.
I know CJ Lab.
Yes.
Yes.
He's another
writer of Baron.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. We
That's,
actually interviewed him. He's a brilliant artist. He actually lives here in Florida.
Yeah, we both, and that's the Haitian in Haiti. I have the comic is drawn by all Haitians in Haiti. You know what they're going through right now. It's been slowing us down with this comic book, but he drew all that, everything. So I'm gonna send you guys some pages from the issue. You guys are going to be blown away because you would think it was a DC artist that drew the book, but yeah, with the little resource they do have, yeah, they killed it.
Yeah.
So, and they do animation.
William mentioned something to you.
Spirit's Destiny. Yes, Nia Kaler. You're right. You see, William, he getting me together.
Right.
Will got your back in these streets right now.
I love William. Me and him have a promotional pinup together, and I have formally asked him if I can, sell it at the Comic Cons, and everybody loves that pinup with both of our characters are on it. But
this cover's powerful.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, that's like Haitian Revolution all wrapped up in one image, man. That's powerful.
And guess what? I didn't even tell him what to draw. I just told him, do your thing, and this is what he came up with.
That's nice.
This is what he came up with. So I was very delighted about that. He's supposed to be drawing Spirit's Destiny, the whole volume. So hopefully Haiti gets better especially with everything's going on, because they have raided where he's at, with the gangs, but I still stay in contact with him. But he finished issue 1, so I'm delighted with that.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Tony, you're up.
Okay. That cover on the left is for Thorn. That's off of our Unbound Realms line, creator owned. Travis Hill, Mark Pate.
Who's Thorn? Tell me who Thorn is. Issue 2 comes out next week, I think.
Yeah, Thorn is a vigilante and protector of Rosebush Heights, set in the Dallas area. Basically, Thorn doesn't play. You wanna, and I hate to put it this way, but you want a real black Batman. That's Thorn. I mean, the story starts off, a couple kids are trick or treating, and they're just being kids, and this racist cop comes and he tries to harass and abuse them. Out of nowhere, Thorn's first act is to just put this cop down. So, just to let you know, this is not for those who like soft, comic books. This is a social commentary. It's about what we go through on a day-to-day basis as Black people. It's a lot of social issues in this book. It's not preachy. It's gonna give you a lot of action as well, but I think you're gonna like it. And Thorn is hot. We dropped issue 0, Free Comic Book Day. Like I said, all 600 copies cannot be found to this day. I have a few copies that I'll make sure you guys get. Issue 1 sold out in stores. Had to do a second printing of that. Issue 2 comes out on the 18th, so hopefully that does well. If that sells out, then we'll go back for a second printing of that one. But ask your local comic book shops, put it on your pull list. Tell me you want Advent Comics, Thorn. We got you covered. And the one to the right is a book that I really like, and it's a love letter from me to my hometown, DC. It's a book called Southside, which is probably on the Advent Universe side, probably one of the hottest books we got out right now. The character right there, Dalton Malone, he comes home to the main streets of Washington, D.C. to find a murderer of his friend. And he's also looking for revenge. This is a crime noir story. It's action-packed, ultra-violent. It's
I think I have the first few issues of this book. How many issues there are? I think I've got like 3.
Issue 4 completes the first arc, which is called The Side Pocket. So issue 4 is done. I just have to get like 2 more pages colored, and the second 12 page or the second half of the book has to be lettered. But then you're going to be seeing that probably the first of the year. I've already written the first 2 issues of the second arc of Southside. It's called The Big. Well, I ain't gonna tell you that yet. Have me back and I'll let you know that. But there is a second arc that's already been drawn. The drawing has already started. And Southside has been a monster seller. For that,
I could tell you fans, if you are a fan of 90s action films, Southside's that book for you.
Yeah, think of Southside as a combination Shaft, John Wick. It's all kinds of stuff rolled into that book, and it's nonstop action. It's going to give you your money's worth, and it's got a decent plot to it as well. I'll leave it at that, and it's going to spring us into the next volume. That's the one that one drops. We coming with some of
that comes out next week, right?
Comes out next week. We come with some of the best covers ever for these Thorn books. I'm telling you, the first 6 covers are going to blow everybody away. Blow you away. Titan Ultraman.
Woo!
Issue 4.
I love this cover on the left, bro.
Bruh.
What I was doing with Titan. First of all, who is Titan Ultraman?
Tell us.
I got a few of his books.
Marcus Cameron. He was fighting the fire, got caught at a ATL laboratory. Something happens. He tries to fight this fire, and something bad happens to him. Throws him into a coma. When he awakens, he has the powers of Titan. Titan is trying to be what the world wants him to be, a hero. So we're going to take you through the travels. He's not a perfect human, but by him being a firefighter, he wants to help people. So he's figuring out how to be a hero as he goes along. The main artists on that story are mad because Marvel stole them from him, Nathan Diaz. They keep giving him books to write, so he won't come back to Titan. But little do they know, he's still doing Titan. Issue 5 drops soon. For those who don't know about Titan, we're putting it back through the comic book shop. So issue 1 has already been there. That's a Nathan Diaz cover on the left.
Damn, these covers are fire, Tony.
Yeah. I believe artist from Israel, Madi Friedman, did the handbook cover that's on the trade paperback cover that's on the right. So that one is, the trade paperback is on sale now. That was the first book we put into Walmart. It sold out completely, and we're re-upping that now. You're going to be able to find that through Diamond shortly. So keep your eyes out on that. And the cover behind it, I wish I would have sent you a picture of that one. It's a homage to Days of Future Past from the X-Men, but it's a Black Lives Matter version where it shows Titan sticking up for all the brave sisters and brothers who we lost in the struggle on the streets.
Damn, I love
that cover. And that cover is fire. It's blowing out. I can't keep it in stock. So
I need to take a class for your covers.
Have to post that up in the space so we can see it, man. We can order it.
We'll do. And the artist who did that was he was referred to me by Jibba Anderson. His artist Aries Art, and it was fire. That's codename Blackfire. That is one of the characters when I did my very first crossover project, Black crossover project. I created this character, Blackfire. Blackfire is a secret agent / superhero, and this book is her book, and it spring loads into a book that we're releasing next year called New Fantastics. So you're going to see that coming from us. 0 issue. I haven't given it a date yet, but I'm going to start marketing it now and show you guys some pictures. Matter of fact, I'll make sure you guys get some pages from the book so you can see what it looks like.
That's what's up.
Capable. It's an artist who came to me, and all right, let me preface this by saying I publish not only our people, but I publish Caucasian people, other people as well. This is an artist who came to me with this story. I saw this book years ago when he first started doing it, and I passed on it only because my distribution at the time wasn't solid. I mean, I was in certain places, but the look or the book, I didn't want to do him a disservice because I knew that I wanted this title to be in more places than what I could give him at the time. So long story short, he came back around. I said, hey, I'm in a position to do it now. I like the story, where he was going with it. So I took the book in, put it on our Unbound Realms line, and we got that out there. Issue 2 goes to comic book shops. You'll see that coming up shortly. I think it's next month it comes out. Issue 3 will be releasing in January, February.
I actually have the first issue of this when it came out like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, he did a Kickstarter for it.
He did a Kickstarter. It was actually at my LCS. I think he did a signing there because I had my first issue signed by the writer.
By the creator. Right.
Yeah, the creator.
So I took his book, and we're gonna do the first 6 issues and maybe a trade paperback, see how it sells. If it sells, I'll expand it and go to his next set of issues. And we'll do it that way. But like I said, I'm all about bringing not only creators but Black characters to the community. And it's a decent story. It's a positive character, and that's what I want. I want to put more positive Black characters out into the mainstream. And that's a page from Black Star Line number 5. So this was a story that actually originally appeared in Black Star Line number 4, and that's going to be released Black History Month. Yeah, so Diamond's going to put that on the shelf. Black History Month. You're going to see. It's called We the People. Now that's from Starline 5, and that page was from 5. But issue 4 is where the first part of that particular story starts. It's called We the People. It's a group of 6 teenage kids who are freedom fighters. Basically, there's a race war between Blacks and whites in America in a post-future apocalypse type setting. And so these characters come to find out that there's a secret that's being held from them and others to keep this race war going. And so they stumble upon that secret, and these 6 teenagers have to stop the race war in America if they can. So Black Star Line, that's a line where I have only Black creators, writers, and participants on. It's to showcase the Black creators and characters within the Advent universe. As a matter of fact, Marcus is going to appear in issue 6. So we're going to get him to write something for us in issue 6. It's already written. Actually, it's about to be drawn. So we're working to get that published to you guys. Starline 1 and 2 are in comic book stores. You're going to see 3 and 4 during Black History Month pop up in comic shops on shelves. I'm going to try to get 5 in there probably like March or April. Blake Moore, that's issue 2 of the, I told you this connects to a TV movie, and the comic sets up future, it takes place right after the movie, and it sets up the future of Blake Moore within the Unbound Realms portion of Advent Comics. So that's issue 2, and that actually comes out October 18th as well. We have like 3 horror books dropping. I know it's Marcus's territory, but we got 3 horror books dropping. Blake Moore 2, we got Chamber of, we got Frightmares number 1, Bounce Back, Miskatonic High, which is like another creator-owned book that we're dropping. So those are 3 of the horror titles that we're going to have coming out next week. And that's Miss Colleen Douglas' book, Vic August Species Negotiator. I
don't think I've seen this one before.
It's brand new. It's dropping in March for Women's History Month through Diamond. So you're gonna see that in comic book shops globally.
Is it a sci-fi book?
Sci-fi book. And Colleen and her team are bringing the heat with this one. When I saw this, I was like, yeah, I'm snapping this one up. So get ready, because y'all gonna hear a lot more of her. We also opened up a TikTok shop. So like I said, I'm hitting comic book fans wherever they are. So on the left, you see some of the titles on the at the TikTok shop, and that cover I was telling you about, it's a Titan cover, so that's on there. And then Cosmos is a big 12-issue maxi series, and it brings together all the characters within the Advent universe. But it also doubles as over 100 publishers and creators being in this crossover book.
Wow.
Dorphise is in this book. Acolyte from Concrete's
Concrete's in it?
Concrete's in it. Wingless Comics is in it. You had Paige Alfred from Page One Chess Comics. There's so many people that is in this book. Black creators. It's a shame. Issue 9 is the next one coming, and these are some of the covers. Matter of fact, William right there, his character appears in Cosmos number 9, which is the next issue coming up. So I'm telling you, we try to include before the Cosmos title. We try to include everybody. We have big creators, little creators. We got Dark Horse and Mike Barron to give us Nexus. We had Fist of Justice. Who else appeared?
Are all the Advent comics now, the upcoming ones, the new ones, are they now all available on previews?
Oh, most of them, yeah. And some of the older ones I'm putting through previews too, because a lot of people in our 14 years never knew who we were. So you're going to get all brand new, some of the old titles remastered a little bit. You're going to put all those through previews. So you all have a nice opportunity to catch up on what Advent's been doing over the past 14 years and get ready for year 15 because we're about to blow the doors off. I'm going to give y'all exclusive on that at a different time.
That's awesome, man.
Amazing.
Marcus, you're up.
Well, this is actually the volume 2 of The Protector. You can find that on the Second Sight Publishing website. The Protector is I guess every creator says this, but this is my baby. The first comic book that I published, the volume 1 of The Protector, it started out as I mentioned about the ICC group. We had this challenge where we had to create our own characters and our own mythology for the characters. And the character I created was a character who was the greatest warrior and hunter and tracker of his village. And during this time, the villages no longer fought wars, but instead had matches within a ring. And this particular warrior killed someone in the ring, and it brought shame to his village. So he was excommunicated from the village, stripped, beaten, and left for dead. But his dying wish was that he could be the eternal protector of the village. So I start the story out in 1200 AD and bring it all the way up to modern history through volume 1. With volume 2, we find out some more of the history of the village. There's an iconic item that comes back to the village via some gun runners. And the Protector goes not only to put the gun runners out of business, but to retrieve that item. And you learn the history of the item, that it came actually from Vikings that landed in Africa centuries ago. And we're going through the story of those Vikings in Africa. And the whole thing behind the Vikings in Africa story was there was last year, maybe the year before, scientists discovered the bones of a person of African origins in Iceland, and one of those areas that are traditional for the Viking people. So we know in order for that person of African origin to get there, either the Vikings brought him or they somehow matriculated there. So it's not far-fetched to say Vikings landed in Africa. And that was the whole thing behind the volume 2. And as I said, you can find that on at the Second Sight website. This is the volume 1, and this particular cover for all you Black comic lord comic book collectors. Okay, this cover was done by Mike Watts of Freestyle Comics fame, and this cover currently on eBay is going for right at $30. Mike put his foot in this. This turned out to be one of the most popular covers that I've done. And there's only a limited number of them. So if you can find one, I may have a few. So hit me up, direct message, or as I said, through Second Sight Publishing's website. And now with this book, the Indomitable Black Assassin. Now we talk about mentoring and talk about helping people out. The young man who actually had this story, his name is Joshua Jones, Bracy Jones. When what happened was he was looking for help. He said, "Look, I'm trying to get into comic books, but I don't know anything." So I told him, "Okay, I will help you out." I taught him script writing by writing a script. He had this story, a prose story, and I said, "Okay, we're going to adapt this into a comic." So I taught him the script, the actual format of writing a script. I taught him how to do all of this by doing this book for him. Now he's moved on to issue 2, and he actually did maybe the last 5-6 pages of this book, and he did issue 2 by himself. He has another comic that he has coming out that he's done by himself. Like you heard Tony and Vonnell say, when you're talking with a person, you see where their heart is, you see where their desire is. And I saw that this was something he wanted to do, and he was serious about it. And that's the approach that he took, even with me. That, hey, I'm serious about this. This is what I want to do. And he learned the craft, and he's working it. So I'm very happy about that. And then Sonny, this is one of our newer titles that I co-write with Bradley. And,
that looks wild.
Sonny is mean.
This is our version of Chucky.
Yes.
And
I understand.
This is that stuff that you don't want to read late at night.
Yeah.
You definitely don't want to read.
Got to have the lights on.
One thing about Bradley and I, when it comes to writing horror, we both are very knowledgeable about movies. So when we write, we're able to write and stay away from the movies that the books or the themes may be similar to. So when you look at Sonny and you say, "Oh yeah, this is just another killer doll." Well, no, Sonny is more than just another killer doll. And as the series goes on, you'll see the big picture and how this killer doll connects to our whole horror universe.
Wow.
And then Ship Volume 1. I mean, I can't say enough about this book, about all the individuals in this book. I mean, we when Bradley and I actually did the Urban Nerd Con in Montgomery, Alabama, where we met Kevin Grievous. And
Talented 10th.
when we talked with Kevin about the book, he talked with us about just the whole coming together as a unit, as a community, and doing something. And we were all like, okay, yeah, let's do this. But we had already had a relationship with John Jennings. John and Bradley are both from Mississippi. So they are those tried and true Southern boys, country boys, like I call them, but I'm not too far away from that because I'm originally from Georgia. So all of us having those Southern roots and having that love for horror, we said, look, one day we're going to have to get together and do something. So Bradley and I started getting people together. John already had the idea of doing a type of magazine, but that never came about. But he had this title, Shook. So he said, look, you all can take the title and let's do this. Let's make this book. So that's how we came about making this book. But it's more than just a horror anthology. It's more than just a comic book. This book is historic in nature in that you do not see a bunch of black people, not just black men, but black people all in a book like this. I mean, it's just nothing out there like this. The closest thing would have been all Negro comics. So we're talking about, what is that? 80 years, almost 80 years it took to bring back something of that nature, an anthology style book like that.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what that
y'all recreated
I made
this
mention
concept.
of this.
You recreated this concept. Do y'all understand the significance of that?
Yes, the first.
I made mention of this before. If you Google what is the first Black horror anthology, Shook comes up. This is how historic in nature this book is. And to follow up with this, we said, okay, well, we need to do another volume, but in this volume, let's bring in the sisters.
Here we go.
I mean, if you can look in the entirety of comic books, and you will not find a book that has all Black women in it. I mean, it's just not there.
Whether it be horror or otherwise.
Right.
Horror or otherwise, you don't see it. And we weren't like a group of men saying, okay, we're gonna get all these ladies here, we're gonna make them work for us. No, even though we began inviting people and setting things up, we brought in a woman editor. That's where Colleen comes in. Colleen has 7 years editorial experience for some of the bigger publishers overseas, and including Scout Comics. So she's got the experience and the know-how. And then, like Paul mentioned, Aletha Martinez. Paul, I know you're here in Florida. Aletha is our homegirl. Her background, she grew up partly in Tampa, graduated high school from one of the high schools in Hillsborough County.
I didn't know that.
Being one of our homegirls, I met her at MegaCon, and I was like, hey, I'm a homegirl. When you gonna work for me? And even back then, she said, look, when you get something together, just reach out, just contact me.
Yeah, I already checked out the Kickstarter. You guys have a variant with that she's doing for you, right?
Yes, she is. She's doing the variant. Julie Anderson is doing the main cover. And as Dorphise already mentioned, and as you all have already seen, Julie Anderson is wicked with them covers. So much so that Julie actually has a variant cover for G.I. Joe. It's issue number 245. That issue has a Julie Anderson variant. So Julie does mainstream cover work as well as the indie work. But we're just as excited. And this actually was a promotional piece that was done by John Jennings for the first volume.
Oh, all right, Vonnell.
All right. So yeah, like you see right here, what we got coming up is what we just kind of came out recently was our variant covers, our hardback books, which that's volume 1. This is, of course, volume 2.
Tell us, who are the Delta Dogs?
Who are the Delta Dogs? The Delta Dogs is a 7 cousins basically coming together, gaining superpowers, and next thing you know, they get trapped up in a deadly gang war. And this, of course, takes place in Virginia. It's actually kind of based off of some of the stuff that me and my cousins went through. So you'll see that it's very authentic when it comes to the storytelling. And it's basically, it has a lot to do with influence as well, of how like the oldest cousin influences his younger cousins, because the oldest cousin was actually a gang member, and now he left the gangs to basically be a better light in front of his younger cousins and stuff like that. So that's basically the base of it, and it gets a lot more crazier than that, of course. And of course, like I said, we did volume books because it's very hard for people to kind of try to catch up on the books and stuff like that. So we made it a lot easier for these guys. Instead of trying to catch up with over like 20 different books, we started putting again volume books. This is of course volume 4, and now again, they just buy the whole set, and now they're fully caught up, and now we're about to start releasing basically the next installment of the series, which of course starts with this is up to issue 20. So that's of course issue 20 right there, one of the pages. And 21, of course, kind of is going to be closing in on closing up season 2 of Delta Dogs, because 1 through 10 was season 1, 11 through 20 was part 1 of season 2, and now part 3 of season 2 is going to be a 21 through 30. So and we're also thinking about doing a Kickstarter for another series. A lot of people want us to come out to redo our not redo, but come out with more books for Kicks. We're thinking about doing that and for 2024. But we're also doing a series that, of course, I'll tell you guys a little bit more later on. But it is a series you do not want to miss. Delta Dogs was for real, to be honest, kind of like a practice run, so I can make sure I can get all my ducks in a row, so I can write the stories that I really want to really get into. So again, everything I've learned from writing Delta Dogs is going to be applied from book 1 of this next series that I'm about to come out with, and with Kicks included as well as being another series. That is another page from the next book that we coming out with for book 21. Millennial Comics is basically trying to get on the YouTube platform to get more awareness and build more of a brand as well. To tell more about writing, because again, our mission, and to let everybody know, our mission is to put story back in the forefront of everything. So of course, it started with Delta Dogs, and it's going to just keep going with other different series within the Millennial Comics universe. So, but yeah, that's what I got right there.
That looks fine, bro.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's nice. That's real nice.
Richard, well, look, I really appreciate all of you being on the show, and we've been here for almost 3 hours. But
and we said we weren't going to do that.
I know.
I called it.
I apologize for dragging you guys out so long. I actually still have more questions and stuff I want to talk about, but I really appreciate you all spending your time with us. I appreciate you sharing your knowledge with the younger creators who need it. And I just appreciate y'all just being tight. I love the fact that you all are willing to work with each other and are open to helping others. We need more of that in this community. I truly, and the Black Comic Lords want to uplift and throw shine on all of you and give you a platform so that more of the fans can know which comics they can go buy. And stop complaining to us about, I don't have any original Black content to get. I want to support Black creators. They're right there. They're all there. They're all right here. Support them. With that, I'd like each of you to please tell these folks where they can purchase your books. They can follow you on social media. Go ahead and each share how people can reach out.
Ladies first.
My apologies. My son been distracting me all this time, but you guys can catch me on Instagram, Spirits Destiny Studio. And I really appreciate the opportunity to be on your podcast. And for everybody else who needs help with the comics, you guys also reach out to me on Facebook. But yeah, Facebook and Instagram will be the best approach. Or you guys can also email me, spiritsdestinyuniverse@gmail.com.
You can find me as Tony Kittrell on Facebook. Also, you can hit us up on Facebook, Advent Comics. We have a member-only group called Advent Universe you can apply to. You have other publishers, creators, comic book veterans. You have business people in the comic book industry who are in that group as well, who can help you contact and network and do some things. You can also find me on Twitter as Advent Comics. You can find me on Instagram as Advent Comics, TikTok, Advent Comics, LinkedIn for business. You can also get me on Substack. I don't go on as often as I do because I stay really busy, but I'm going to pick that back up. We have Patreon, Advent Comics. So just look for us. You'll find us. Our books can be purchased from our website, adventcomics.com. We're also on Amazon, we're at Barnes & Noble, Comixology, Drive-Thru Comics, Indie Planet, Kindle, previews every month. You can find us at your local comic book shops. If you don't see us, you can ask for us. And also, keep in mind, we are going to be coming up with probably the seminal Black Creators Crossover next year. So be on the lookout for it. More information will be coming soon on that. I can't get into it yet. It's still too early, but I think you'll be pleased. We've already started work on it. Let's let you know that. We've already started work on it.
That's what's up. Marcus?
Well, you can find me on Facebook, Marcus Roberts, Second Sight Publishing. On Facebook is Second Sight Publishing. You can find me on X, Marcus Roberts once again, and on X, we'd be Second Sight Publishing. I'm not on IG. My kids, when they were younger, told me I couldn't do it. I was too old, so I'm not on IG. But you can find Second Sight Publishing there on IG. I am on LinkedIn as Marcus Roberts once again. And then we have our website where you can purchase our books, secondsightpublishing.com.
Yep. So you can find me at millennialcomic.com for our personal website where you can purchase any of our collection of books. And then also you can find us at YouTube and Instagram, Millennial Comics. For your Instagram, it's millennial_comics93. And then we're also on TikTok as well. And that's our main platforms that we're really focusing on right now. We also do Patreon as well if you want to support us there. And also, any creators that's out there, if you want any type of help, you want me to make a video of just any particular questions, just let me know. You can send me a message on Instagram or post a comment on one of my YouTube videos. I'm always checking for that. So yeah, any questions, y'all just let me know and I got you.
Well, that's what's up. That's what's up. For those who are watching, if you've enjoyed the content, please, I encourage you to make sure you like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel so you know what other videos we have coming out, and share the video across your social media so that other people know about the talent that's out there for them to purchase these books. Again, I want to extend thank yous to each and every one of you for spending your time with us. We really appreciate it. And it's been a blessing to talk with each and every one of you. And look, MegaCon is in like, what is it, February? Let's all link up at MegaCon this upcoming year.
I'm down.
Okay.
Let's do that. I wanna do a live stream for MegaCon. We need to do a meetup. We'll schedule an official meetup at MegaCon. I want all of y'all fans who are watching this. Let's all go to MegaCon in Orlando, Florida in February. Let's do a Black Comic Lords meetup. I can throw out the Black Comic Lord Comic-Con variant shirts on our website, blackcomiclords.net. Go ahead and purchase that. Appreciate each and every one of you. Rich, could you please give us the outgoing benediction that you are so famous for doing?
Good night.
That's it.
Let's go.
Tapped out.
Yep. Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate you all.
Well, Dr. Wizard, you can take us out. Appreciate it. Peace.